Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Utopia District podcast. Thank you for joining us. Today, we have some very special guests on the show. We've got all kinds of people from the Utopia District team. DemoDawg, Mallbert, new Utopia District team member. Welcome. Maximus and Omega Killer. What is going on, my friends? Nice to be talking to all y'all.
What's up?
Yo.
What's up? It's been a little while. It's great to have everyone's ear again.
Or for the first time.
Yes. So today's episode is about classic TV programming, what we lost over the past 10 years, how you used to have your favorite shows growing up and channels and things you did with your family, rituals, all things revolving around having a central TV, maybe a TV in your room with channels that just had whatever on whenever you looked at it. And so we want to dive into what that was like and how it's kind of been lost and it just quietly disappeared over the years. You can still find it in some places like satellite TV, things like that, but it's certainly different. So without further ado, I want to introduce our newest team member here and then dive right into the show. So Mallbert, hello. Thank you for joining up the team. We're stoked to have you here.
Thanks that I can be here.
Yeah, thank you, man. Just a quick once over of, who you are, what you're into Vaporwave for, and, maybe what you're doing at Utopia District.
So a short introduction to me. I'm Mallbert. I live in Germany. And I was born in 99, so I don't know too many 90s TV shows. I know some because they still showed them on TV in the 2000s.
2000s TV too, though. Whatever TV you grew up with is what we want to talk about.
Yeah. And I guess my way into Vaporwave was kinda synthwave. And then I got distracted by Vaporwave, and now I am here.
I never looked back.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome, man. And what are you doing on the team? Planning on?
Mostly graphical stuff so far.
Yeah. Some visual art, maybe some event stuff. Who knows? That's the cool thing about Utopia District for anyone listening that may want to join is you can really kind of perfect your craft and learn something you didn't know before or know you even wanted to learn about. And you can kind of just find yourself working on these different projects and gradually making your way into things other people are working on. And it's very cool, just judgment free, and we have a lot of people who kind of help refine work as we go and make us feel confident in it. Like if you're a new writer, for example. Anyway, I digress. Yes. The team is open arms and accepting new team members as well. So hit us up. Okay, so back into the episode topic. So everyone has their own kind of story with what they grew up with and what channels they watched. Maybe they just watched the Weather Channel constantly. Maybe it was Channel 5 or whatever. Yeah, I really want to explore what that meant to people, and if people feel like we lost something, I certainly do, and how it maybe kind of like set things up to be how they are now with like how you generally program a TV broadcast and programming of an event, right? So I don't know, it's just a fun little topic, and let's see what cool conversation we can have come out of it. So to start things off, I'll talk about my experience, I guess, just what I liked to do. Being in Canada, we had a couple different stations, I imagine, than you guys did, but like you had MTV or that cartoon one. Was it just Cartoon Network? Yeah, Cartoon Network.
There's like three of
we
them.
had and
Nickelodeon
and Disney Channel
and Disney. Yeah, so we had like a version of Disney Channel. I think I was a bit too old once that one rolled around, but we did have something called Teletoon. We had YTV, and we had Much Music.
What was on
And
YTV? Because that was a subsidiary of something else, right?
Phil was on YTV. He was one of the main hosts and was such a charismatic guy. That's one thing we can talk about too, like the personalities that you got. Video and arcade top tens, Nicholas Pickles, for example, great character. But YTV was like a kids channel. It had Power Rangers. It's how I discovered Dragon Ball Z. I think like Cat Dog maybe was on there, and yeah, there's a lot of cartoons and stuff. What was really cool about YTV though was the in between segments were hosted by these people that were in this TV studio thing, like built for kids, with like this slime TV that would broadcast, that would show like what they were watching and the hosts were talking about. And I feel like that's definitely missing. You like as a kid really like connected with these people. And yeah, I just wonder what kids are watching now that like they're all sharing and watching, you know.
So over here, it's kind of interesting to hear what TV stations you had, because we obviously had different TV stations in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we had Nickelodeon, but it was kind of weird because not every television could get the signal for it.
Oh, interesting.
So
So it was like
was kind of
it wasn't
complicated.
antenna though, was it?
Uh,
No,
I guess so. I don't know.
not in the early 2000s. But yeah, you just couldn't access it. I
Yeah,
got you.
we could not access it on every television.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Cartoon Network. They had a station over here, which was kind of limited, just like Nickelodeon. So what we had was Super RTL. That was the name.
Okay.
Then we
Cool
had,
name.
yeah, we have RTL, which is just regular boring television, and then we have Super RTL, which is more addressed to children, I guess.
Mm.
Um, so they had SpongeBob, which I used to watch since kindergarten, and they also had a lot of cartoons that would air on Disney Plus, no, the Disney Channel. We did not have Disney Plus back then.
Oh no, yeah.
I don't know.
Disney
It's
Plus
funny
on
how
a tube
quickly
TV.
The Disney
becomes
Channel.
part of the vocabulary though, right?
Yeah,
You
kind
just
of.
say it automatically now.
Yeah. So we did not have a Disney Channel. So some Disney Channel shows would air on Super RTL.
Mm.
And stuff like Futurama or The Simpsons were a big topic when we were kids over here. And they would air on Pro 7, so Pro 7 if you will. But on Pro 7 they had a science related show where they did physics tests and stuff like that. And
Nice.
Beekman's World.
after this show they had The Simpsons.
I remember Beekman. All I liked was Beekman. I gotta tell you. Screw Bill Nye.
Yeah, I don't know Beekman. We only got
Oh,
Bill Nye up
what?
here.
We did not have Bill Nye over here nor Beakman.
Those physics shows are so great though, like inspiring kids. Like Carl Sagan, you know, started it all.
Oh, I think so the show was called Galileo. All I know from Bill Nye is this intro.
The obnoxious intro, yeah.
Bill Nye the Science Guy, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I know about Bill Nye.
Yeah. No, it was a good show.
And Galileo was like completely something else. It was like a talk show, but also kind of a documentary-ish thing.
So it sounds like it's kind of I'm trying to think of, like the NBC specials over here or ABC, or could be kind of like The More You Know, or partially even kind of like how Cosmos was done with Carl Sagan.
Oh, like
Um,
Nova documentary.
Yeah, Nova, that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
of, because Nova kind of does that. It's more of the serious approach, more
A long
very
format.
like, yeah, the long format, and it always, there's a theme to what they're talking about, but that one was kind of like that. I feel like at points it kind of shifted to where it'd be like they'd show a live experiment of something if it had to do with the topic, but then it was more documentary based. But that one was, I'd say that from what you're kind of what you're explaining, I'd say that's kind of our American equivalent is maybe like Nova or some
Yeah,
of Cosmos.
Sounds like it. It was less fun, but more interesting, I guess.
Yeah. But it wasn't the type of thing where like there's a studio audience, kind of like where they do live demonstrations in front of kids. Because that's something cool. I feel like we shared a lot, wanting to go on those shows, whether it was
Oh no, it was different like that. It wasn't that
for
way.
sure. I got you. Did you guys have or anything like that over there, like those game shows for kids?
So
mostly Nickelodeon did.
Yeah, Nickelodeon. I grew up right at the pinnacle. Well, I shouldn't say pinnacle because technically 90s was that, but I feel like early 2000s had the pinnacle of those game shows. But yeah, like, oh God, I'm trying to think of the ones we had because I don't know if Double Dare was still going.
It was, but it was like a weird way.
I know the Hidden Temple, Legend of the Hidden Temple, that was one of them that was still going.
That's making a comeback, right? I think.
It's making it weird. It's not
Did it happen?
They did one on Nickelodeon, and then I think they stopped it. But now they're doing an adult version on another TV network. And because I remember I saw it, I was like, this is just a weird version of Survivor. This isn't Legend of the Hidden Temple anymore.
Yeah.
But
by the way, is Omega talking right now for anyone listening?
Yes, that would be my voice. But yeah, like other game shows, I'm trying to think of the early stuff because I remember the later 2000 stuff, the ones where it got really weird. But Down to Legend of the Hidden Temple was one of them. I don't think Nick Arcade was still going. I think that one
forever ago.
I think that one died out before my time. My brain keeps wanting to say the Amanda Show. It's like, no, it's not a game show.
No, it was more like a sketch comedy.
It was like kids SNL.
That was all that.
All that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't really think of too many more, but I do remember there was like a special block at a certain time of night where it's like, yeah, this is the game show section of Nickelodeon.
It was like right around evening, at least in my zone. Because like when I'd come back, it'd be like dinner time. They'd be having like some kind of
I want to say it was right before.
It had a bunch of celebrities on it.
Block.
Oh, what was it? Oh, it was called Figure It Out.
Figure It Out. Yeah, Figure
That's
It
what
Out.
it was. Yeah,
my God.
It was like a Jeopardy with slime.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Is you get slimed.
Yeah.
It's like, guess what my super talent is? I can shove my foot in my mouth or something.
And they brought it back too.
Like, my dog can drink milk out of my mouth or something. That was a weird episode. But
yeah.
What the fuck? Okay. Yeah. We don't have something like like that over here.
No. It's just funny how we have all those shows. Like we like in Canada, I know I didn't have several of those shows you listed, but just the fact that we know them all, kind of like, I don't know what shows are happening today that people are going to look back and be like, oh, remember all these shows? And people will be like, yeah, we all had that same childhood, like the same offerings.
Remember Silent Library?
Oh, yes.
Never got it.
This was called Fist of Zen over here.
Oh, yeah.
We had MTV, which kind of got replaced by Viva. I don't know why and how. So it was MTV in the early 2000s, and somewhere mid 2000 they changed it to Viva. Maybe Viva is completely different and just did the same and took over. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, back when it was MTV over here, they aired Silent Library, and I enjoyed it a lot. And for some reason it was called Fist of Zen over here. The concept was exactly the same thing. They were in a library, and the only thing that was different is that they had a fist where they got a piece of paper out, and when they unfolded it, one said showed the middle finger and the other showed a fist, and the one who got the middle finger was the one who had to do the challenge. Like the most memorable.
I can see that being an issue here.
The most memorable thing was the Lego jump rope. So they had
That's
like,
crazy.
a small
no.
baby pool filled with Lego bricks instead of water, and then they had a guy step on it and do some rope jumping.
Oh my god.
And the worst part is that it's silent library, so you are not allowed to scream, and the others are not allowed to laugh.
Oh. Crazy. Yeah, I didn't have that here. Maybe I was too old for it. That's crazy though. I thought there was a jump rope, like the actual rope was made of Lego.
Oh no.
I was like,
no.
in the challenges, don't break it. Like,
My mind was focused on the physics of that. I was like,
yeah.
all right, you get through the first jump and just exploded pieces everywhere. This is
Yeah.
this is DemoDawg, by the way, the sultry sounds of the seasons over here.
Oh yes, thank you. Yes, DemoDawg. Is this your first podcast? No.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well then, everyone listening, welcome. Please welcome DemoDawg.
Yay! All right.
Did you guys have America's Funniest Home Videos in Germany?
did.
Or like,
Several
obviously
iterations.
in America.
Sorta.
Did you have?
Oh, see,
we had that in Canada.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Was it Canadian
Germany?
Funniest Home Videos?
No, we had Americans with Bob Saget, right?
Well, I guess you're part of North America.
Yeah.
we
touche.
had-
Capital A America.
Yeah.
We had something like the best American fail videos over here. It was called Oops, die Pannenshow. So whoopsie, the accident show,
Ouchie show.
the ouchie
Yeah.
show. Yeah, something like that.
Aptly
And
named.
it was basically American videos. And it was Fail Army before Fail Army was a thing.
So just
and
an
all the
early
videos-
chive.
This was mid 2000s. Maybe it still airs, but I could bet that the videos are still somewhat from the 90s or 80s. Really, they had all different ages of videos.
American Ninja Warrior. Or wait, no, what was
yeah.
American Gladiator? Yeah, that
Gladiator.
That's
The
the old
octagon.
one.
was yeah.
Gladiator's the good one, yeah.
With the massive Nerf guns. It's like,
Yeah.
I just want that one.
The pugil sticks.
I wanted to compete so badly in that.
Yeah, but you had to be a bodybuilder on there.
I think they came out with like merchandise, like action figures.
Just back to the other thing though. Not America's Funniest Home Videos. Yeah, now we have Tosh.0
Is that still
or
around?
whatever his new
One
one
still
is.
exists.
They gotta
He
be
has
on
a
like
new one.
season 18.
But like I think
But that's the
it's
best we
nearing
got
its
now.
end. I think.
Yeah,
a shame.
possible.
Oh, we have ridiculousness too. No.
That's the one.
That
That's the
one's-
one.
Yeah.
Or maybe even be a newer one too. But not to say that it's good content. It's
No.
I just mean it's like them
Filling the void.
Filling the void. Yeah, exactly. America's Funniest Home Videos like weren't even usually that funny.
The voiceover
it-
did it. Like
it was
it
the-
did
yeah.
a silly voiceover. Like, oh no, I stepped on a
Oh
pizza.
no! What is
Yeah.
this? What is this
Like,
guy doing?
Boing.
Oh yeah, man.
Riding a horse on the autobahn?
Yeah.
I do that.
Oh,
I'm
man.
thinking of like Extreme Elimination Challenge too.
Oh, MXC. Yeah.
with the voiceovers.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
And
It's
sound
like a
effects.
totally different show.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, if you ever seen or saw like what they sampled all the video from, it's not even the same show at all.
No.
It's like same thing as Power Rangers.
True.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Oh
The
yeah,
ori-
that's right.
the original Power Rangers is like the show where they're cursing and stuff like that, and it's like a real show, and it got Americanized and it's for kids, and it's like, wait, what?
That's
What is
crazy
it?
how they
I
just
never
took
saw
the
it.
action
Super smart.
scenes and added American actors and
Yeah.
then voiceover because they're all
They-
wearing masks. It's like genius. We can make them do huh, hoo, ha in American sounds and it'll flow perfectly. That's all we
They
need.
just
Yeah.
have to move their heads so they look like they're talking.
Well,
Yeah.
they took the fight scenes and then they cut into live action scenes where like they were in school and stuff like that, so they could do whatever
Yeah.
they wanted, and then it would cut over to the taken footage. So there's actually a series on Netflix called The Shows That Made Us or something, or The Toys That Made Us, and it
Oh,
goes
yeah.
into huge detail of the whole Power Rangers backstory, like how Bandai sold rights, and it was actually really interesting from a documentary point of view.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never
Crazy,
seen
because
it,
the toy line was huge.
Oh yeah, I
It
had
was
them.
huge.
I almost had every single one as a kid. Like that's all I wanted was Power Rangers or Transformers. The
Beast
Megazords were always
Wars.
awesome. Beast Wars was awkward, but I enjoyed it.
I loved Beast Wars.
Early CGI. It didn't
Oh,
freak me
yeah.
out as much as Donkey Kong Country,
Oh, yeah.
that was
That
weird.
was
which
just
was
a bad show.
a fever dream of a
That was
show.
bad. Yeah. I remember
the-
Teletoon announced there's like the Nickelodeon of Canada or
Mhm.
Cartoon Network announced it when I was like grade. Fuck, I don't remember. But I remember where I was like when I saw that trailer, like standing in my room. I remember calling my mom over, like so fucking stoked for like the most shittily 3D animated thing ever.
Oh, speaking of shitty animated 3D animations, did you have Jimmy Neutron?
Of course
Oh, yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
I recently found
Jimmy
out that
Neutron
it's,
is like the perfect animation. It's like kind of like Uncanny Valley, sort of like.
yeah, it did not
Um,
age very well, to be honest.
No,
That's
but it
kind of
is,
why,
like,
yeah.
So yeah,
I like that it
I-
became the
I-
pinnacle of
I
meme
really
culture.
enjoyed it as a kid.
Yeah, that's true. What about the show?
No, it was just some 3D animation I was thinking about from back then. But yeah, it did not age very well. Just like a lot of CGI stuff.
Oh my god, I just remembered Code Lyoko.
I was about
That
to
one was
bring
another
up.
that was weird. It
I-
was just the massive foreheads.
The thing is like you
Let
have
me look that
compare
up.
Jimmy Neutron to things like Coleoco, but Ugly Martians, Recoded. Like I think Jimmy Neutron survived the best out of all of those. I mean, obviously
yeah, this
not.
doesn't. This is like kind of wannabe anime style too, right?
Well, this was
Well,
Toonami when it
Coleoco-
went to Magoozy. So when the death of Toonami happened, it was kind of like a sad day for Cartoon Network.
shit.
Because like I grew up with, so I didn't know Cartoon Network until like my early teens. Like all I thought existed was like Nickelodeon and like Saturday morning cartoons. And I remember I was over at my aunt's house, and they had like the good cable. So I was flipping through
The
the
good
channels,
cable. Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I fell upon a channel I've never seen before. I think in my area it was channel 75. And that's the kind of stuff that we don't have anymore. Is like, oh, what channel is it? Oh, it's this channel. Like, turn it to channel 75. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So
That's a high up there channel, dude. That's
Yeah.
a premium service.
yeah, that's why I didn't have it at home. But like
Yeah,
I
you
flipped
got
it
the
on and
Donnie
I was
channels up
watching
there.
Cow and Chicken. And I was
Yes,
like,
cow
was
and
like, what?
chicken.
what the hell
Oh,
am I
God.
watching? Why is this guy running around on his ass cheeks? But
The
like it
Red
was
Man.
yeah,
The baboon.
yeah. No, it wasn't the baboon. It was the devil guy, which I forget his
Oh
name.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's right.
He's one of my
But-
favorite voice actors of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a lot for Cartoon Network, and I was like, oh, what is this whole new world? And then later on, finding Toonami, I remember I'd run home and watch Thundercats, thinking like this is like
Nice.
a new show or something. Didn't know it was like for forever. And it's just
Oh.
reruns.
That's early Toonami as well.
Yeah.
I'm just dating myself. But,
Yeah.
but when it flipped over to Magoozy, I was unwilling to forgive them for that.
Yeah, damn.
Just didn't have the same feeling. I lost Tom. Tom was my homie.
Oh,
And then he's
yeah.
back. Yep. Then he went to
Yeah.
like late night Toonami when it was Adult Swim.
Well, he's back.
Mm.
Well, right now it's he's still
it's called
going.
Toonami again now.
Yep, it's just super late in the night, which they even they talked about why they've done that now. But yeah, it starts at 12 in the morning now.
And who's Tom? Like the host?
Tom was the robot host. Yeah.
But he's the voice actor for Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
damn.
he's
Isn't it
like the
absolute
Funimation
bumpers
badass.
were
one?
awesome for Toonami bumpers. Like he'd be there, like in his ship. What the heck was it called? The Observation, I think.
Some like that.
Mm.
The Observer.
Yeah. Now I gotta go check out that
Steve Bloom.
what was that album that was put out by the Vaporwave album that was like the goodbye to Toonami? Oh no. But yeah, like
It's not Toonami tapes.
Yes, that one.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I copped that instantly. I think I have that on
Yeah, for
mini
for
disc.
sure.
I was like, oh, the nostalgia. because it had all
Nice.
of like the bumpers, and they had a lot of music that was involved, a lot of like hip hop with samples, and it was like nothing I heard of before.
Mm-hmm. Those little like jingles they wrote too, like that's classic stuff like that just survives in our minds now, in our collective memory. You know, you can go look up the YouTube video, but
How long before that's gone? Who knows?
yeah, it's not something you hear around anymore. Now you just hear the same fucking songs over and over again.
You don't even hear that. You only hear like a couple second segment of them on TikTok.
Yeah.
Which is
yes.
Is it like,
yeah,
how can we distill everything down to 30 seconds? That I think is like, oh no, what's faster than TikTok? What's going to be next?
yeah. Hopefully
Definitely
a
not
complete
Reels.
abandonment of
Right, like
digital like
the internet
social
just
media.
is reset, like Tyler
Yeah.
Durden style, and then we have
Yeah.
to just talk to each other.
I'd love to. I'd
yeah.
love to have something like that.
It'll all
Then
be
I would
like
not be able to
Usenet
talk to
and
you guys.
BBM.
Oh, it's like that. There's like a webcomic I saw where it was like two people in like hazmat suits sitting next to each other, and one like draws a meme on a piece of paper, hands it to the other guy, and he just laughs like, "Huh." He's like, "Remember when the internet existed?"
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, that voice actor, I just looked him up there, Charlie Alder or Charlie Adler.
Is
Yep.
Adler.
Adler, yeah. He's
Count
awesome.
Chicken, I Am Weasel, Real Monsters. Dude, Real Monsters was
Who was he in
fucking
that?
tight. Great question.
Not to put you on the spot.
Oh,
but-
Icarus.
Oh.
I'm pretty positive he was Icarus.
Yeah, Ickis, yeah.
Icarus,
Icarus,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I like
Icarus,
Close.
remembering
Malfrina,
some
and
things.
Good
Crumb.
name for
Not
all
everything.
the monsters.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna like download that show and watch that again.
So-
That's
Smoke a
Also,
lot of weed, so
good shit.
I can't remember all this shit.
I'll propose
Rocco's
a question to
Modern
you
Life,
guys.
too.
Is there a cartoon out there that's on the edge of your memory that you're like, all right, I remember the premise, but I have no idea what it was called? Like I can't even remember if it's real, but like they had this happen in it.
There were a few that I rediscovered over the years, and I've downloaded the seasons too. And
Now
will
that we have the
keep
internet, we can
forever.
kind of like just be like guys who rode on cars that turned into surfboards, and then you can
Yeah.
find out like whatever. Before you couldn't
Yeah.
do that. People were just like, no, that wasn't a thing. I'm pretty sure. I would know if that was a thing.
Motorcycle riding fish. Street
Yeah,
Sharks.
We had a show, I'm convinced it was a US show, or at least the concept was US. So you have a couple kids in a show with audience and stuff, and then they just go out on a door, and then they just get a shopping cart and run through a store, and they have, I think, a minute.
Oh, that
To-
sounds like
to throw
Trolley
stuff-
Dash from Britain. I think that's
Yeah,
the UK
that
show.
could be that.
Live action show.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there may have been a US one from the 80s, I think. But that one, I remember what it was, is that you have to first answer a series of trivia facts, and then that gives you a certain amount of allotted time for each team in the store.
Oh, nice. I
And
see.
yeah, I don't remember the name of that one, but that one was a really, that one's way in the past.
I just had one right now. Fern Gully.
That
I
was
was
a
like-
film.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was like, oh, what was that
I'm
movie where
pretty
they're
sure it was
cutting
a
down
cartoon,
trees and
too.
stuff?
Oh, yeah, you looked it up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo, Robin
just
Williams
looked
is in that as Batty.
Yeah, I was like,
The
whoa,
Batty.
brain
Bat-
farts.
Fucking, I remember his rap.
So there was also a cartoon where it was a Western, and everyone were cows.
Oh, Cows of Moo Mesa, or Cowboys of Moo
yeah,
Mesa.
Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Like this
That
is back when they
sounds
were just
amazing.
like shake the boggle cube
Yeah,
of a bunch of
exactly.
different ideas. Or
Yeah,
like what was
also they
it?
could sell toys.
The South
Mhm.
Park Family Guy idea generator when they had the dolphins pulling balls out of a giant tank.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I believe the one that I was talking about before, where there were people who fly on car surfboards, was called Sky Surfers Strike Force. Yet
That one I
another
didn't
cash
hear
grab.
about.
Sky Surfers Strike. Dude, it barely comes up when you Google it, too.
1995 to 1996 is as long as it lasted.
Jeez.
Man, that's like
But it's
that's
still,
a rare one.
it takes up real estate in my mind.
Yeah.
Oh man. There was
Mine
also,
were go ahead.
I was just gonna say that before I even watched like the live action Starship Troopers movie, there was a Starship Troopers Marauder cartoon, like really early CGI. And I remember
Crazy.
nothing except when I was little, I was watching these guys in these big robot suits shoot bugs, like these giant alien bugs.
Yeah. Crazy, man. Starship, I didn't know that. What was I gonna say? Yeah, mine were Samurai Pizza Cats.
Oh.
Nice.
That one I remembered having some good memories with one friend. Actually, not ever watching that one on TV, I think, but finding it like on Napster or like Morpheus or something, and then like forgetting it and remembering it years later. And there was one though from my childhood. I'll try and describe it and see if you guys knew what it was. It was like there's a high school kid live action show, and he's like a computer kind of dork, but he's not a dork. He's like the cool kid, and he's like playing a game one time, and he gets like sucked into his computer.
Are you talking about Freakazoid?
It's not Freakazoid.
No, that
Okay,
sounds like
'cause that was
Captain Egg.
Freakazoid is fucking amazing though. Like the writing in Freakazoid, if you go back and watch those early episodes, man,
Yeah,
that is
it's
like
awesome.
Warner Brothers like top gold.
Well,
Didn't they
that
bring Freakazoid
Animaniacs.
back?
Yeah,
Animaniacs too. Aren't they
Yeah.
bringing that back too?
they
Freakazoid?
already did.
They did bring Animaniacs back. Oh
Oh.
shit, man, I gotta watch that.
They had a cartoon. It was a movie. It came out like 3 years ago or something.
Damn. Oh, sweet. I am so stoked. That's what I'm gonna do tonight.
Was it a Christmas movie?
New Animaniacs? I don't know.
I remember watching it and I was like, oh, huh.
The new
I see a
Animaniacs is on
Hulu.
Hulu
Oh,
right
no,
now.
there was the new
Yeah.
Rocco movie, or it was a Rocco Modern Life
Oh
episode
gosh,
that came
yeah,
out.
that
That's what
movie.
it was.
There was a Rocco's Modern Life show also.
Yeah, there was also a Christmas movie, which was actually pretty good.
I tried watching it, but I couldn't. You know, that's how nostalgia works, right? Like,
Yeah.
was it the show wasn't as good? Did they make it differently, or is it
Better
just,
in your head.
I don't have the time for it anymore, and my lifestyle has changed, so I can't enjoy it as much.
Oh, yeah,
But,
Jimmy Neutron
I'll
was
just
better in my head.
Continue with the show. It wasn't Freakazoid.
I
It
think
was
the
a
one-
live
the-
action.
Oh, live action.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because I was gonna say it's like if it's a cartoon, it's like the only thing I could think of is Captain N, but he wouldn't be on the computer.
Yeah, no. He's in his basement, like gaming away, gets sucked into his computer, and he becomes a transformer superhero, kind of like Power Rangers, like mecha droid
This-
thing, right?
This sounds like something that JonTron covered actually.
I bet you he did.
Also,
So
there's an
he
episode-
has to go into his computer. It's kind of like Tron, I guess, and like fight computer viruses who are like going to infect his school or something. And he's also a drummer. He's a really good drummer. And his two friends, they're like his bandmates, and they like play music as a band in the computer, and they all have droids, and then they morph up and like become a super droid, you know? I don't know. It was called Superhuman
Samurai
Cyber Squad.
Cyber Squad.
Yeah, Superhuman Samurai
Your-
Cyber
Your
Squad.
Google
yeah.
foo is as fast as mine.
No, that was from memory.
Oh, nice.
You helped me,
I,
though.
I had to Google it
Yeah.
because someone else asked the exact same question on Reddit.
So, but it's easy to find shows now, I think, because I searched. I remember remembering that show in like 2012 and like not being able to find it, and then I found it on like a private tracker website, and it's still like wasn't. Maybe it's on YouTube now since, but yeah, it's much easier to find that shit now.
I mean,
And soon we're in a weird spot of the internet where it's like things are starting to go behind paywalls. Like everything's going back to a paywall, right? Like if Disney didn't already take it and put it behind Disney Plus,
And the
they're-
resistance fighting back has been pretty much squashed. Like all
Yeah,
the
it's-
DMCA takedowns. Who remembered
Everyone's just tired.
Nick Reboot?
Mm.
So this was like an underground. Somebody got a hold of like the original streams, like tapes of Nickelodeon, like
Oh
shows.
shit! With the
And they were
commercials and
doing-
everything.
With the commercials, they were still showing like
Damn.
so they cut out the commercials and they'd put them in at random, but they had like the old Capri Sun commercials, the old Mario commercials, Fruit by the Foot commercials, Blow Pops commercials, everything, and they were doing a 24-hour stream online. And then they got a little greedy and they tried to monetize it, and that's when they got shut down. But it was like
Yeah.
I could go in at any time.
Got to do a
like,
Patreon.
they had a TV guide built into the website. You could
Nice.
oh, what's going on? All right, let's the Hidden Temple's next. So,
Oh, dude, I think
It
I
was
remember that now.
awesome.
Yep.
and now it's gone. They had another version of it for Cartoon Network, but that one like you had to weed through because there was a lot of Cartoon Network IP out there that wasn't like immediately fun to watch. So you're like, I gotta wait a few hours. So it was kind of like the experience of going back in time and being like, yep, gotta tune in at this time.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah, having to watch it at that particular time.
And if
'Cause
you missed it,
now,
it was done. Unless you
Even
taped
if
it.
and you can't rewatch it. You got to borrow tape from someone.
Oh, yeah,
Now, if
yeah.
you miss it, just watch it when you get home. You know, even though it came out that day, you're still probably going to watch it at some point during the night it comes out. Let's say it's Game of Thrones season finale, something like that.
Yeah, the
Whereas if
original
you miss
Pokemon.
that shit back in the
Yeah.
day, and you can't go to work the next day because everyone's going to be talking about it. I think Seinfeld has an episode about that, or they should have an episode about it, like
Or
not
the
wanting to
Simpsons,
get
somebody
it
does.
spoiled.
that they have an episode about something like that.
Yeah, trying to
Yeah.
avoid the spoiler.
I
guess
recently
it's-
watched some Seinfeld on Netflix because it's finally on Netflix. Because I was using my Prime subscription to watch Seinfeld on Prime Video, but then they took it down. So with the shows you have available on Netflix or Prime Video and stuff, other streaming services, so we don't have HBO Max or something like that over here. And for some reason, some shows on Netflix are available in the US, but not in Germany.
Yeah, and they change the rotation so much. It's like something's on. Like, how do you watch Breaking Bad right now? If I want to just go watch it, where do I go?
I have
You know,
no
it's
idea.
like
AMC Plus.
It's hard to, well, maybe that. Thank you, Mr. Have all the answers. Maybe bad example. You know what I mean, though? Like, it's hard to
Yeah.
know where to go to find something. Whereas before, you just like, we go to the video store and we rent the VHS. Or the DVD, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even the Blu-ray, like, because that
Or
was
you
a
just go
thing
to
for
the
a time, I
library.
guess.
We had
Or the library, bro.
for
You can
us,
still go to the library actually and get
People
and
don't
find
know
quality
that. That's which is
content.
mind blowing. Like there's
Yeah,
your local
I do.
There's a
library is
library.
legit.
What is this? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
well,
I
what
think newer
means
generations
library?
don't even know what a library is because
Yeah.
So
they
do
just
it-
have their phone
library?
and their laptop, and that's more than sufficient to get access to a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the library is amazing. Back in the day when I was in elementary school, we had a bus from the library coming to the schoolyard.
Oh
with
shit.
Some
What?
stuff that we could borrow, and then 1 week later would show up again.
Mm-hmm.
So it would always show up on, I
Switch
don't know,
books.
Thursday or something, every 1 or 2 weeks. So that was pretty fucking nice to
So
have.
Was
the
it-
bus took you to the library?
No, the bus
Oh,
was the
I was like,
library.
come on, kids.
They
We're gonna
had
get
a
a nephew
small
for
selection
learning.
of-
Like,
So they had a
That's what I
small
was gonna
selection
say.
of awesome books, DVDs, video games.
So it's
Um,
like the side panel on the bus opens up and there's like a whole undercarriage with all these like different shelves of shit and
it's like, hey kid, you want to learn something?
It was like a door. They had a door, just like some school bus, but instead of seats, there were shelves.
What?
So this was pretty
Oh,
epic.
That's cool.
And
That's
then you
pretty
had
cool.
the bus driver with the checkout, and you had your library card.
Oh, what?
And it was from the city library, so you could
Mm.
just go to the library and return it there, or wait for the
Mhm.
bus next week.
It should be a
Damn,
thing,
that's cool.
especially with
This
how
is-
like they can
yeah.
scan everything right there. Library cards are all digital now. Like we are never been in a better time to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this
We
was like
do have something
in
like that here.
2006.
Because there's something about like putting the content in front of people and creating something exciting around it, like especially for kids, right?
Like a book
All the
fair.
kids line up. Oh, I'm gonna go get the physical book, the book fair, right? Scholastic, Book Fair,
Book
exactly.
Fair, the
Get me a
biggest money
bookmark
grab
and a
ever.
pencil. Yeah. I got Baldur's Gate from Scholastic Book Fair, and I'll never forget that. That was a great
Like the
experience.
game?
The book.
Oh.
Yeah, they
Okay,
wrote
I
a
was
book
gonna
after.
say, well, you got a
Yeah,
legit
but game
Scholastic Fair.
Yeah.
I remember getting missed from the book fair.
Oh shit, missed. That's crazy.
yeah,
book
they
fair
actually
stuff.
had
And we
that
never
there.
saw you again. Yeah. Max isn't coming to school. Wait, we haven't seen that kid since he picked up a copy of Mist. Where is he?
He's busy clicking.
He's
Yeah.
clicking on every pixel on his screen.
Yeah, because that game doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, thank God there were so few pixels back then.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, back in my day, the pixel was below 1,000, but on its way.
Yeah. It's like our pixels were square still.
Yeah, on the Wii, the pixels were like just washed out to have a higher looking resolution thing.
Yeah.
Mm,
Or at least I feel like it was like that.
crazy.
Yeah. Maybe back to the topic where we are the boomers that now complain about how the shows that they show nowadays turned. I recently watched Teen Titans with a friend of mine, like the original show.
Oh,
This action animation.
Highly underrated, honestly.
yeah, that's actually good shit.
Yeah, this is really good. And then after we finished, we were kind of bummed out by the abrupt end.
And they keep teasing a season 6, but they've been teasing it for the last like
No,
3
they're not.
years. They're not
They're
gonna
not.
know. Of course not.
They're not. And now we thought, why not watch Teen Titans Go, since everyone complains about it, and check out why they complain about it. And they went from, I mean, the one point is the art style changed a lot. So
It's like a chibi version.
yeah,
Everything's
Something
miniaturized.
like that.
Everyone's got,
big heads,
big
small
heads.
bodies. Yep, something like that. Like 1/3 of their bodies is the head. But with Teen Titans Go, they took away the action, and the depth of character, I guess. So
Right.
the whole Teen Titans Go thing is just fun to watch and to laugh about. But that's it. There's no lesson, just fucking laugh about stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm glad that show's good though. Like, we were so lucky growing up. Like, we really caught the perfect pocket. Like, whether you watch stuff in the 80s, 90s, or the 2000s, the content was like super on point, and like it lasted long enough where it was relevant for a long enough time to cross over those like generational gaps, where you could watch Batman the animated series in the 2000s and still like love it, or like even the old, like all the superhero ones like Spider-Man and stuff. Now they're just making the feature film versions instead of like good new content for kids. They're just giving us what they already know works based on what worked 10, 15 years ago from our childhoods. So I just feel so fortunate to like have all these memories to share with people and like appreciate, like, I don't know, like Cowboy Bebop, right? That shit's from 98, 99. Incredible thing. They're remaking it now. It's like, why not make a new good anime? Did anyone see it, by the way?
I haven't
I
seen it
started
yet.
watching it today.
But
Oh my
I don't
God.
see the
I'm so
pitchforks
scared.
and torches yet, so it might be better than Death Note was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
So I mean, I just watched
I
the
still
first two
like that.
episodes, but
Yeah.
from the first impression, I would say it's a lot better than. I did not watch the Death Note live action because everyone hated on it, and I was like, why waste my
I mean,
time?
To go on the record, I did not dislike the Death Note live action.
Me neither.
That's a
I
hot
thought
take
it
in
was
the wrong
alright.
direction. I thought it was
It's
good,
short,
but I
you
also
know?
didn't like the original series. So that's my hot take.
Ooh.
But I didn't think it was
is the
better.
wrong
I think it
podcast
was
for that.
a good thing on its own. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, it's an homage. It was good.
So thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Probably the last time you guys will invite me after that. Huh?
Yeah, now get out.
Maybe before we dive down further this deeper hole, or this deeper into this rabbit hole, I kind of want to challenge what you said, Indy, because while there was a lot of good stuff, it's more we're pushing aside the absolute garbage that was put along with it.
Yes,
Because-
good
Fair.
point.
Like
Good point.
because as I've
But the
done,
garbage is part of it. You need the garbage, right?
Well, so the thing is as I've done research into like 80s and 90s commercials, just like, obviously you're going to get TV shows brought up and the toys that go with them.
Mhm.
And then you're reminded about just how much absolute garbage there was.
Yeah.
Like
landfills, man.
the Police Academy animated cartoon for kids. Like,
Oh my
why did that exist? And and I thought about this earlier, how, because it kind of came to light, it's like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Disney were probably the big three in the US. But then I started to remember, it's like, okay, there were subsects of stuff, because there's CW4 Kids, there's
Yep.
Toon's Eye, early Toonami,
EKN.
and like the thing is, like, Toon's Eye, barely anyone remembers it because it didn't have great shows. The only cartoon I can even remember there being is the one about the robotic monkeys, and that's about it. And then CW4 Kids was Warner Bros. So people were like, okay, I know that there was Freakazoid on there, Earthworm Jim, which I don't know if even was any good.
I
was
love
amazing.
that show.
Oh,
that
you
was
said.
I'm gonna rewatch that show tonight.
And then
The dog
Like,
character,
yeah.
man.
there's just a few
Sorry,
of
go
them.
on.
And so it's like, I think what it is that these days it's honestly hard for us to find shows that we think is good amongst the garbage. I think it might be our age that we're more looking at the garbage covering the good, because I'll say it, I'm not an Adventure Time fan, but I can say it's not a bad show. I used to watch it until it reached a certain point, and then I was like, okay, you know what, this isn't for me. I used to watch regular show until I was like, okay, I more just kind of fell out of cartoons entirely. Except for anime, because that's a little different for me. But I still like to revisit old cartoons and stuff. Like Ed, Edd and Eddy still holds up.
Nice.
And stuff like
For
that.
sure.
But I'd say that even like, as sad as it is to say, that some of the early 2000 or 1990 block of Cartoon Network wasn't very good, because like we forget how much Hanna-Barbera bullshit was on, because not every Hanna-Barbera cartoon was the same.
No.
So like Scooby-Doo, that's
True.
good.
Wacky Races.
And stuff like that. But then you gotta push aside, you have Top Cat, Snagglepuss, Huckleberry Hound, Quick Draw McGraw. You have so much to sift through that, and the fact is that's because Space Ghost, Harvey Birdman, those turned into into Adult Swim shows, taking footage because they were like, the old footage was deemed so boring, and that like Hanna-Barbera didn't want anything to do with it because no one cared.
Excellent example is Space Lab.
Dude, are you
Oh, no,
fucking
it was the
serious?
Space Lab was Hanna-Barbera, and it's deemed one of
Sea-Lab.
the worst Hanna-Barbera cartoons, but it made for a good
Yeah.
Adult Swim show because they just dubbed over it. They made up BS.
Oh my fucking god!
which
I had no
was-
idea that was done for either show. I'd never even heard of this other show, but Harvey Birdman. I always wondered, like, why the fuck are all these Hanna-Barbera characters in
Yeah,
this
that's
show?
why.
I was like,
That's
how
why
do
you
they get
get
the
the
license?
Jetsons, the Flintstones,
Yeah.
Grape
Yeah.
Ape. You get all that because Hanna-Barbera, basically their goal was let's throw so much shit and see if
See
any
what
of it
sticks.
sticks. And
Mhm.
Scooby-Doo was about like the only thing. The Flintstones and Jetsons started falling off.
Yogi
And-
Bear fell off also, yeah.
Yeah, that fell off, and then people are just like, "Who the fuck is Droopy Hound?" and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And you know, there is a pantheon of Hanna-Barbera characters that no one knows about. Like, I can't even remember the name of the shark. I know there's a shark.
Jabberjaw.
Jabberjaw. Squidly Diddly, I think
there
is
was
one of them.
Josie and the Pussycats, which was
Oh my
like,
god,
that was
yeah.
a cartoon at the same time. And then there
Yeah.
was
Great film though. Great
Yeah.
feature film. Watch the film. One of my favorites. Check it out.
On the topic of Birdman, has anybody seen Bird Girl?
No, I've never even
Negative.
heard of it.
It's still pretty funny. I don't know. I thought it was funny. It's on HBO. It just came out.
oh, it's
that's yeah. But yeah, like, and a show that people know for meme purposes only is stupid Turbo Teen. That came from like the 80s and 90s, and that's a horrible show. It's literally a kid who turns into a car. That's the whole show. And it's just like, even the ads for it are bad, and it was all because they're just like, we're making a show so that we can sell merchandise. So I think it is kind of notable today that we've sort of strayed away from that, because like, I don't think there's any regular show toys. There's not much in
There
Adventure
are.
Time. It's more like I would say there's
think there
apparel. I can't think of any toys besides Funko Pops. I can think of a lot of apparel stuff, which to me that's different. But I think it's like,
Well, we also
we're-
lost toy stores. So we don't
That's
have
true,
the big
too.
box placement. If it's not in a Walmart, most people don't have access to it. Like, we lost back in the day KB Toys. We lost
Toys R Us.
Toys R Us, which was
Yeah.
the,
We,
that was
we
the
also had
biggest
Toys
one.
R
Which is
Us
coming
over
back.
here.
Well, it's
we
going to be an
also had-
online store only.
Right.
I think they're
We had
keeping
Toys
one
R Us
open
over
in
here, too.
Canada
Yeah.
because it is a Canadian company, right?
Yeah. It's
All right,
in
cool.
Vaughan, I think, which is like an hour away.
Right. So, like, we've lost those centers where you're going to go and find toys. Like, being able to go to a toy store and see something for the first time at the toy store, that's gone. Just like flipping through the channels and discovering a new thing. Unless you were
Dude.
like reading the TV guide or something, you weren't going to be like, "Oh, what's this?"
I can't even imagine like not being able to have my kids have that experience. You know, like window shopping for the toys and like, I want that one, and like, no, we can't afford it. You know, like feeling bad. You know, all that stuff. I'm not gonna go through it. I'm sure I am. But don't get me
It'll
wrong.
exist, but just on a smaller level. It'll just be like
yeah.
walking through a department store because like kids nowadays don't know what's there, and there's
Department
even
stores,
less
like,
to look at. So
Dude, I want
They
the
just go
Home
through
Alone
Amazon.
2 toy store where you go in and it's like the fucking giant ass store you can get lost in. You know?
yeah,
You guys remember that store from Home Alone 2? What was that
Yeah.
called?
I have no clue.
I had that when I was in New York. I don't know, 8 years ago or something like that. So in theory, I was like still a kid. And there was one Toys R Us that was like on 3 levels and huge.
Can you just turn your camera off a little bit? I think you're lagging. I'll turn mine off also.
Yeah, okay, sure.
That's better.
Yeah, I think in New York there was one huge Toys R Us, which I felt like I got lost in because
Yeah.
of its size. But also we had Toys R Us over here too. So yeah, this experience is something that kids these days will probably not have, to just walk around with their parents in a store like that and show their parents what they want from Santa for Christmas.
I don't know,
Yeah, or like where do parents take their kids at the mall to just like let them go? Is that a thing
So there's still like the big
anymore?
plastic death trap play fortresses in some malls, but also most
Yeah.
people don't go to malls.
We got all the dead malls. Yeah,
that's why we
true,
have the
yeah.
dead malls.
You know,
That's
just
why we
had
got
a
the
I would
dead
love
malls.
if we had dad malls over here, because malls in general are less common in Germany. I mean, we still have some malls.
Yeah, it was
We have-
super North
we have
American
malls,
thing. Yeah,
or something like malls where you have different
time.
stores, like some makeup stores, clothing, toys, uh drug store thing. We have something like that, but it's kind of different. But I would assume that it kind of has somewhat of the same feeling. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, just like the kids' favorite show, they want the action figure. Like, do you just order it off Amazon now, and it comes in that shitty
Yeah, it
brown
comes
cardboard
overnight.
box and comes
The
overnight?
next
Yeah.
day too, and the kid doesn't understand like oh, you gotta wait a while, or we're gonna mail away for something. I know we're like, it's probably because we're so close to the holidays that we're pinging on this, and we're getting away from cartoons. But right before we get back to cartoons, the Sears catalog was like how people how I picked toys out for Christmas. This
You
big,
circle the one
massive
you want.
dream book came in. It was
Yeah.
like 150 pages. And that's how Sears made their money, through like Kmart and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I gotta dip
we
out
also,
for a sec.
Oh, you're dipping out?
Yeah, my buddy got into a car accident. I gotta go pick him up.
Oh my god.
oh damn,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
right.
I guess he's at the hospital. We'll see.
Oh boy.
Whoops.
So
All right. Yeah. Take care.
I'll be back though.
All right. Cool.
All right, later,
Okay,
guys.
later then.
Peace out, man. Drive safe. Don't want you getting.
Yeah, damn
Having
it,
to go to
Indy.
the
Way to
hospital
say that
too.
out loud.
Yeah. No, he left. He left. Yeah.
Knock on some wood.
Shit. What'd you say again? Demo.
We were talking
Sears
about
catalog.
The tangent.
Sears
Oh
catalog.
yeah, the catalog.
But it's kind of like the idea of that, like, we can't go to like Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or Family Video to peruse like, hey, what movies are out. Like
Man, I
can't
miss
just
that
kinda,
so much.
we took
Walking
this
around with a bag
social
of
idea.
popcorn.
Yeah, just kind of like trying to figure out what's going on, and then trying to like scam me into buying like a single bag of popcorn for $3 extra than you could at the store.
Dude, and you'd run into people you knew while you were hanging out at the video store and be like, yo, what are you renting? And you
Right.
get recommendations and stuff.
It's like the
Like,
perfect
how do
90s
people
movie
talk
setup. Like, oh no,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
girl I have a crush on works at the video store. Now I can't go
Ooh,
to that one anymore. I'll look like a nerd because I'm picking up
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
It's like, oh no, I'm renting this for my kid sister. It's not for me.
Yeah, there's a whole culture around like how
Or,
to
like,
get around it.
Movies like
sort of thing.
Mallrats and stuff like that. We have these movies that were a cultural piece that if you were to watch them today, you're like, oh gee, what's that like?
Oh, I love those. Those are my favorite. Empire Records, Mallrats, of course. How are these not coming to me?
I think tying
Shit.
TV into this kind of stuff is another thing I've noticed. Just talking about stuff we're missing is really like obviously kind of like cheesy but sort of heartfelt local TV bumpers that like
Oh, yeah.
especially around holidays, because I remember around Christmas like which there's still some local ones, but they lack so much charm. They lack so much just like the feeling of the holidays when your local station between cartoons or between shows, news broadcast, that they be like talking about your local events or just taking the time to be like, you should be with your loved ones this holiday and all that kind of stuff, because
Wishing you a safe drive on your family visit and all that.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
like here at ABC6, we're wishing you and your family a wonderful, happy holidays.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
And then station sign-offs. You don't see the care taken in the station because I don't know how many stations do proper station sign-ons and sign-offs, but I remember still seeing a few sign-offs, and it was insane. Like it was so cool having a TV network take that time to dedicate like a elaborate sign-off. I think one of my favorites ever was Cartoon Network. There's like only one video that I had to scour through to find, but it was Cartoon Network of July of 2000. I don't even know, but I remember when I used to see that sign off, it felt so special, especially because the sign off ended with like a kid going to bed and it showed the stars in the sky and it'd say "See you tomorrow," and that just felt so special. Of course,
Yeah.
then it led into the Adult Swim one, which was don't it was like if you're a kid, you need to turn this off right now.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this is the warning music.
Yeah, no, especially the Dawn is Your Enemy when they used to play that because I remember that too.
Oh, I
And that
remember like the
scared.
trippy one-liners, and they'd have like this like really
Yeah.
disconcerting like stereo crackle, and just like, what the heck's going on? Like
Yeah,
TV's possessed.
I think the Dawn is Your Enemy is the most notable one, because I remember that freaked me out, and which that's just insane to think about that a TV network did that too. The fact that they put a bumper to scare kids into going to bed so that they wouldn't watch it. Because I ended up watching it. I guess I technically watched some Toonami shows, which Toonami that late in the night is not meant for kids
No.
because they're showing stuff like Ghost in the Shell and
Ninja Scroll.
Drawn
And
together.
I don't think
Yeah.
they ever showed. No, Toonami
Heavily
did not
edited.
do that because Toonami was only anime. That would have been MTV. I think did Drawn Together, heavily edited.
Yeah.
Drawn
What about
Together.
Duckman?
MTV did Drawn Together.
Yeah. But
You get
yeah.
Duckman?
I actually didn't see that. I know of it, and I know that as a kid, I probably would actually be too upset watching that because I remember like just I found out it was Fooly Cooly actually scared me as a kid because I
Ooh,
remember
yeah.
like I just remember
puberty
one
is pretty
scene.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Well, I remembered it was the scene of I think it's a girl having the spider, like the spider thing pop out of her head, and that scared the hell out of me. And like, I mean, Adult Swim tries as you might just show that scene from Fooly Cooly to I think 7-year-old me, and I was off. I didn't watch anymore.
Yeah. Too much. Too scary.
Yeah, and Fooly Cooly isn't even a scary anime; it's a dumb comedy anime.
Yeah, it's pretty intense though.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
when you're like, like
If you're young, you're
As
watching it
DemoDawg
late at
said.
night.
discovering your body.
Yeah,
He's got that thing growing out of his forehead when he feels feelings,
yeah.
you know. But it is so charming what a lot of those local news stations did, and like I feel like it would have been such a treat and fun to work there and be a part of like creating. Like that's why I loved putting on Flamingo Fest and Late Night Lights and Disco Forever and whatever, because like you get to build what the experience is going to be for people over the next 12 to 24 hours. Like, you know, when they're going to laugh, it's like making a movie almost, which I like, you know, I do that also. And they must have had such a blast, like every year doing the new version, you know, upping themselves, making it better. And I'm curious, in the States, because the states are so close to one another, like all 52 of them or however many there are.
There's 50.
And 50.
Yeah.
And in Canada, our provinces are fucking far, like 20, 40-hour drives sometimes, like to get to the next one.
Mhm.
Like Toronto up to Manitoba, something like that is like at least 20, 30 hours. And so we don't get their stations or their broadcasts or programming or anything like that. Do you guys have, like, if you live close to the border of a state, do you have access to both states' networks, or how does that work?
So I guess it all depends on what you're using to get it. If you get cable anywhere, it's all regulated because it all depends on your decoding, your modulator demodulator box. Like that's what's coming through. So if it's over the air, there are ways that your TV nowadays, if it's a digital box, you're going to receive whatever the strongest is. But like if you had two channels and the FCC wasn't doing their job with having enough channel separation, you were going to get some interference of overlap.
Oh, I remember that too.
Whoa! So on the same channel,
right?
it's not
But
like you can
that
pick
shouldn't
which
be
network
like
you're
that
on.
because
Yeah, that's
literally-
crazy.
that's what the
two
FCC's job was for.
Holy shit!
Yeah, the two signals would fight each other, and then you get some very interesting or very scary television jumbled up by static.
Yeah.
Or the cool thing was
Yeah.
you could use to pick up TV channel signals with a radio.
Yeah.
So you could just listen to audio only on some channels. I remember that when I was really young.
That like reminds me of that whole phone freaking stuff.
Yeah.
Tuning into people's calls and whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the FCC kind of did away with all that cool stuff, so.
All that cool stuff.
Right.
See what I mean? See what you're missing, kids?
Yeah. The government ruined it.
Or is it just boring?
Probably both.
Yeah.
There are a lot more exciting things now.
Like Twitch, hot tubs, pools, and beaches streams.
Oh yeah, that's modern kids like turning to like channel 99 when they don't pay for it and looking through this.
Yeah.
Like, what's that? I think I saw something.
Here's the thing. Something I think about a lot, I just realized fits perfectly into this conversation is, what do people do like when they're in high school and developing their friend group and coming up with quotes? What do they do to make sure everyone knows the quotes? Because everybody knows Family Guy quotes.
That's true. I think it's kind of backwards now. I don't think
it is.
I mean, it's not backwards. There's definitely a
You have
like
the quote,
nowadays,
but not the show.
right? If I sent someone like if I was going to make a reference to something and they didn't get it, and I'd send them the YouTube video, I have about a 30% chance they're going to watch it because people don't take the time to stop for a second to add something to what they were going to do. It's like, hey man, check out this thing. Like, oh yeah, I definitely will. And they don't, like ever. But if it was like Family Guy, that was the hot topic thing, because if you weren't watching Family Guy, you weren't cool. But nowadays, everyone's got phones, everyone's got TikTok, so they're just. I hear this nowadays, even with people in our kind of like our age group, they're just quoting TikTok videos or quoting stuff like that, or whatever the meme culture is kind of going. It really highly depends on your friend group, unless everyone's just running around saying like, everything's sus.
I can say from my high school experience, it was that there's some like obviously pop culture things, but I remember like some of us would say like a certain quote, and then of course person's like, oh, I don't know what that is, and I think we did a good job of not, because like I remember our friends, because we're the poverty kids, so most of us didn't have like good phones. I remember I was like in my senior year of high school with an iPhone 5C with 5 gigabytes of storage. And the thing is like I couldn't get internet to send stuff, and basically just like because of my friend group, we didn't really send each other stuff. We talked about what we liked with the thing we referenced, which I think generates more interest than just sending something. I think sending something is the worst thing you can do. I think instead is you should just talk about why you like the thing. Like that's what ended up getting me or I ended up finding JoJo, and then I talked about JoJo with my friends who were kind of skeptical about it, and then now they love JoJo. I should say, like, one friend loves JoJo, one friend hates JoJo, but he likes it enough to not completely hate us for talking about it. But,
and he'll probably still get the references, maybe.
Well, so the thing is that was the funny thing too, is he watched it because we make references, we make jokes. He read the manga. He hates the manga, but he still read it so he could be in on the joke.
Be part of the group. Yeah, that's yeah, I think that's still around. Like, as far as I think that's human nature. Like, nobody wants to feel left out. That FOMO, or fear of missing out, it might even be stronger now. I think it kind of runs a lot of people's lives, especially with internet culture and with information being as immediately available. That's why people scroll through Reddit for like 8 hours a day, because they're afraid they're going to miss something.
And I think that's what the big deal about Game of Thrones was too, because like it's literally everyone's like, everyone's watching it, everyone's talking about it, and then so if you don't know about it, then everyone's getting all hyped and they're like, oh, I'm gonna go watch Game of Thrones with my friends at my house, and then you're like, well, I don't watch Game of Thrones, I don't know what it is, and they're on season whatever, and So then it's like you're missing out, and so then you have this feeling like, oh, well, I need to get in on it too.
Yeah.
Which, so yeah, I think that's just kind of
I have a question.
uh,
You made me think of it, because so you're talking about the Game of Thrones, and like, even if you didn't see the show, you'd probably be like, okay, this must be worth seeing because everyone's talking about it, right? So you might see it later. Same with Breaking Bad.
Mhm.
I'm wondering about Squid Game, because that show's not new. Maybe it's foreign and that's why we're seeing it
Mhm.
now, but like, everyone's talking about Squid Game. Have you all seen it?
Nope.
I've seen
I
most
have
of it.
not. I know
Mall,
everything
man,
from
you
memes.
haven't. Maybe
just
it's
from
because you're in
memes.
Germany then.
I'm not alone. No. It's a big hype over here too.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because yeah, it's on Netflix too over here.
I saw
and-
Strawberry Station dressed up as one of the contestants or whatever, one of the numbered people for Halloween, and I'm like, shit, yo, like
It's getting around.
it's happening so fast, but like, is it gonna be relevant next year? You know, whereas I could go
No.
as Peter
Definitely
Griffin,
not.
or you know, any character. Like, I could.
Same with Money
What-
Heist.
Can
You
you,
know what I
please do that, Indy?
It's not a good example. Okay,
I
maybe
need
Fry
to
from
see.
Futurama.
I need to see
maybe
you
that-
as Peter Griffin now. It's the body transformation of the season.
I could do Neo because I got a leather coat now.
Yeah, there
and-
you go.
Then I just put
Neo.
on some sunglasses and then I'm just fucking Neo from The Matrix.
That's another thing, like TV movies or movies on TV. Like, you used to see a lot of films. Everyone knows these films because they just happen to see it at some point because it was always on some TV somewhere.
Well, that was how
That's
cable
part of
worked.
why we like. That's why we make vaporwave, right? There's
Yeah.
so many songs that we know that we didn't choose to know because we happen to exist at this time in humanity. They're playing all these fucking songs no matter where we go. We go to the mall, we go to the grocery store. We go to the drugstore. All these songs are always playing. You go to the bar, you hear the same songs for your whole freaking life. You know, I know fucking Celine Dion songs I never put one on before, right?
Right.
So like, that's why we make vaporwave, so we can say, fuck you, I don't want to hear this song anymore.
We can finally
This
consent
is
to it.
our yes, this is our way of consenting to it by making it our own version. And you know, that's a beautiful thing right there, and that the fact that people are trying to stop that is just crazy. But it also extends itself into the whole notion of missing like TV broadcast programming or the films that we would see. The only
most of that
thing
was
we're
free.
doing now, and it was all free. Yeah, good
Yeah,
point.
like that was the thing. Like you didn't pay for curation, which is why a lot of these streaming networks are so big. So you're like, I don't want to see advertisements, even though they were highly advertised in early on. Just like Hulu, if you want to get like the non-good Hulu or whatever. But like all these things we were exposed to were free, and they were highly subsidized as like a public service. Like TV used to be a way of like getting information out to the masses.
yeah,
Only then
exactly.
when they started locking it down, when cable came out with movies
Yo.
only networks.
Like, where were you when 9/11 happened? Probably in front of a TV.
Not at my school. They
Well-
weren't ready to put that on for
At my
us.
school, they did. They fucking don't. Well, it was a high school. I was in grade 9 when it happened.
You also
So
have to
everyone
think,
was
you were
in the
Canada.
library.
'Cause,
Oh yeah, true.
In the U.S., there was literally they told
It was like a
schools like
lockdown.
there was a ton of schools that were like, don't even acknowledge that this happened. We don't want kids getting upset because like they
Wow.
like there's
Yeah.
reports of schools where they acted as if 9/11 hadn't
Was
happened
happening
for like
next
the
door.
first
Yeah.
for like the first few
Wow.
days of school because they were just
Mm.
like, we don't want getting everyone in hysterics.
That's
and
interesting.
Upset.
Because
Yeah.
Toronto's only 9 hours away from New York.
hmm
But yeah, for the first 2 hours of the day, I remember I was at school late. I think I told this story on a different podcast episode, but all the students were already in their classrooms and in the gymnasiums and in the library and wherever, and teachers were just standing around crying. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I walk into the school late and they're like, come into the library and watch the TV. And
Yeah.
anyway,
Like,
so
we didn't
we
have
all
that.
heard of it through the TV, though, like more or less, right?
Yeah, my school told me that like they said, all right, recess is canceled. So I was like in like 6th grade, the recess is canceled because there's a lot of bees on the playground. And then one by one, everyone in my
Whoa.
class got called to the principal's office because their parents were there to pick them up, and I didn't know why. And then eventually, my parents came and got me. I went home, and that was the first time I saw a TV and found out what happened. But that wasn't until like later that day.
Yeah, now you'd see it on Twitter.
Well,
Yeah,
so
yeah. You'd be telling the teacher like, "Hey, you know, get
Yeah,
the
yeah. Put your hand up. Miss Krabappel.
yeah."
I wasn't old enough because I would have been like the age of 1 or 2 at that time.
Oh
But
yeah.
Same here.
from what I know is that a big thing that they say about 9/11 is that what commonly happened is that people would like be calling each other. They're like, turn on the TV, and they say what channel, and they're like, just turn it on. They're like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Because it was literally across everything, and that I'm sure that happened with the assassination of JFK, and just like, I mean, like that's how it used to happen. But now I wouldn't say that like these big tragedies. Then again, it's like those two were like super huge things, especially U.S. specific that happened. But these days, I would think that I don't know if a TV network can be overridden
They
by
can.
other networks. Well, so if they can, then like I don't know how like
They haven't had
Gosh,
to do it. So they started this after 9/11. They put all that in motion. Like now the U.S. president can text everyone's cell phone at once if they wanted
Yeah.
to. So they put
Yeah.
all these things after 9/11. We just haven't had another thing where they would use this. But anything controlled by the FCC can be overridden by
Yeah.
government order. So we've gotten away from that. Like,
Yeah,
everyone's
it's
like worried,
NSA
like
shit, I guess.
if everyone's like watching Netflix, like how are they going to get these news informations? Well, everybody has a cell phone now because landlines are slowly being removed from the country. So,
Literally physically
yeah.
removed. Yeah.
So
That's fucking sketchy too. Like all the cell towers go out, and then we're like, well, guess we have LAN cables.
suck that copper that
that's
worked
all we
for
have.
2 decades is not
Yeah.
here anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, again,
I'm just gonna
we're
grab
moving
another
into a
drink.
new
I'll be right back,
paradigm
one sec.
where we're going to have that in our pocket. So is it a good thing that everyone's going to find out exactly the same time, no matter what, as long as you have a phone, even when the cheapest phone nowadays is still capable of showing data and video and sound.
Connecting to the internet and stuff.
So we're in a way we've replaced the TV with the phone, the immediacy of being updated with your phone.
Yeah, at some point you might get a brain implant in the future. So this is where it gets back to the cyberpunk stuff, like The Matrix or Blade Runner. Because yeah, I come from a Discord server community that's called the Cyberdeck Cafe, which is just like all cyberpunk, because it's a server full of techies and nerds building their own cyber decks, which are like sci-fi versions of computers that are more portable and way cooler than the regular laptop. Because I mean, yeah, laptops are compact and portable, but they are rather boring. So
Yeah. Well, the cyber decks are also kind of like purposely anachronistic to like look like 90s mega tech, which or
Yeah,
80s tech
that's
that
the whole
never
point.
existed.
that's
Like
the whole point.
miniaturization, silicon shrinking every 10 years never happened.
Yep.
What are we talking about?
Cyberpunk stuff.
How we've gotten away from the TV, now we have the phone. Like, what's next?
The brain implant.
You know what I miss? That makes me think of two things. One, planned obsolescence, wherein they bake the end of life into the technology.
Like smart TVs.
Like smart devices, man. Fucking, I'm so sick of these goddamn smartphones. I feel like the point in which there was like, it wasn't like a 1 day shift, but from the time the first smartphone was invented and for a consumer to now, I guess, or once everyone had a smartphone, that was like the change from like the past to the future. Like everything's being streamed now, everything's cloud-based, everything's DRM. You know, it's like we're doing a whole podcast. We have a whole genre of music around celebrating this stuff, like not even just vaporwave, but late night lo-fi, right? That's basically just like classic television programming at night, and you know, all that old news anchor, you know, anything like luxury elite kind of stuff. But losing my train of thought. We don't have that anymore, you know.
You can't use your old Nokia phone anymore.
Flip phones, oh, you can't even use them anymore. Like I still have my flip phone.
At least I think so. I mean, if you
can't
get a
not in Canada at least,
because GSM's different radios and everything.
They took down the service.
You won't even be able to use anything 3G anymore. So
yeah,
exactly.
They're taking that down.
Same
yeah.
way.
I bought the AC adapter for my old flip phone off eBay. It was like $30. I found it. I was like, yes, I'm gonna use my flip phone again. Fuck smartphones. And I can't use it. Yeah, Bell. There's no SIM card for it.
Motorola Razr.
It's the Sanyo Katana. It was the other
fancy
Razr.
name.
Yeah,
sounds like
it's very
2000s tech.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good, that phone, man. I miss it so much. Like I truly believe that once smartphones entered the game and you could like look up your map on the go and look at like before you. There was a perfect era of when we had fast internet but didn't have smartphones. So like there was still like all this old stuff we're talking about, all these old classic inside jokes, or like you're downtown somewhere, you're trying to find directions, you like call your friend who you know is near a computer to help you find information or like get where you have to go and stuff like that, you know. It's like there was such. It sounds like a pain in the ass, but it was more special.
That's what made the last couple
everyone
of
had
so
to,
cool.
No one had an advantage, you know. It was like I don't know.
Well,
yeah, I wish that transition.
We were in a transitionary period.
Never ended.
Full slope. Well,
exactly. Yeah.
Is the next new point in time, or is this just part of a bigger transition?
I think it's like we're at the end of a type of transition, but there's a bigger, broader transition going on in general. Once like AI catches up and all that kind of stuff, but nothing's really new anymore. Like the newest thing to happen was like crypto 10 years ago.
Right, and all we're doing is again, it's just rehashing.
It's the same. Every phone looks the same.
The concept of credit was wild. Like, hey, what about money that's not actually here? So, like, the idea of crypto is just another version of that. If anything, crypto is a step back. We're looking at like trading seashells and stuff.
Yeah,
monetary.
It's just a ledger.
So
at
all
the
we're
end of the
doing
day.
is what's old is new again, and what's old is new again will continue forever. But what's old now is still new to us, so we can't even think about how we're going to change it to be exactly the same. That's why I love looking into these older technologies, looking into these older YouTube channels that show off like cool cutting edge tech from back in the day. Things
That's
like Palm organizers.
Yeah, exactly.
Palm organizers
like
existed.
LGR.
Dude, Palm Pilots, hell yeah.
Yeah,
I have an IBM Idea Pad. Oh no, WorkPad. Sorry, I have one of these.
Like that was the first smartphone.
Pager.
We've had that forever.
I recently got a pager because it looks cool.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
A pager.
A pager, yeah.
A beeper.
Because it looks cool.
Yeah, because it looks cool.
I'm surprised they exist.
Say that. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
You can't use it. Yeah, I got it off like something like a local Craigslist kind of thing.
Yeah.
Man, they probably wouldn't even work here.
We have eBay Kleinanzeigen, so it's like eBay but local.
They must have kept that system around in Germany. It looks like I don't even think you could get a pager here that works unless it's like.
The only way where pages work are for doctors, because apparently
like
they still
emergency
have an
medical
emergency system that calls pagers.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of interesting. But I would
Most
love to have
reliable.
a transmitter that could just send a message to my beeper, pager, whatever. Like a notification, but not on my smartphone.
You got a push notification to your beeper.
That would be so
Again,
fucking
that is
cool.
so
Like
cool.
this
What's
person
old
just
is
sent
new
you a
again.
message on WhatsApp. Beep beep.
Yeah,
All right,
but
new
you can't
idea.
reply. Just so you know.
Yeah, just so you know. Well, let's call this the Apple Watch. But now you can reply on it. This was like, what was that? The Pebble, one of the first
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
mass
I love the
marketed.
Pebble. I
You
had the
couldn't
Pebble.
do much except see what was going on.
Mm-hmm. That's I still have. I have an Amaze Fitbit. It's the Amazon
Oh
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
super
still
cheap.
have the Pebble Steel. Like, people are. It's a dying community, but you know
Yeah, the Pebble.
Oh, there's a
they had-
hardcore community behind
they
that one,
are,
yo.
but
Oh,
they're
yeah.
getting
The
forced out to
custom
the fact
faces.
Android won't support it anymore. Like when the app
Mm.
finally dies, like they'd have to re-engineer everything from scratch.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Also, Pebble was bought up by I think Fitbit,
Yep.
and then Fitbit got bought by Google. So I really
Oh
hope
shit.
that Google really does something with the knowledge Pebble had, because Pebble was like superior. They had
Yeah.
Right. That's why they killed it.
Yeah, that's why. They had e-paper displays, so or
Yeah.
e-ink displays, if you will, which made them last a week with one charge,
Mhm.
which is amazing compared to other stuff. I mean,
But
yeah,
they last too long, and the battery lasts too long, which means the device won't deteriorate quickly. So
which is bad for
Yeah.
the capitalist.
bad for
shit.
the company.
Well, did you okay, here's a cool story. Did you know that a light bulb that never dies has been invented? In fact, one of the
the
first
first
light
one.
bulbs ever invented,
Yeah,
was
it's still going.
It's still going. Yeah, it's never turned off. And that the reason it's still going is because it was never turned on technically all the way to like used high intensity.
Oh my god.
It's always just a very low like simmer, I guess you could call it, of like an orange glow. And that light was made in like 1800s or something. And the company that made them realized like, hey, once everyone buys a light bulb for their house, they're never going to need to buy them again. So they baked in end of life.
That sounds like something Edison would do.
And it took us until like just a couple years ago where we got LED light bulbs that don't die.
Yeah,
But
they
like,
last
for
a
the
long
past
time.
100 years, they just made them die so we would have to buy them again.
So we're just going to retitle this podcast, Why Capitalism Killed the TV.
I mean, the capitalist topic is kind of vaporwave, though.
For sure. What you were talking about, like the whole Fitbit thing has me interested because it does tie into the episode theme in that, like,
Retrospect.
technologies are so fleeting these days, right? We're talking about flip phones and how they came and went. The fucking Pebble came and went, and that was like 3 years of life it had, just because it got bought out. And it's like companies are buying each other's tech so quickly that we don't get to enjoy any product for long enough. It's like, yo, everyone get this cool product. It's like, oh, I'm kind of broke. I can't afford it, so I'm left out, or I'm at a disadvantage, or I'm behind. I finally get it, and I'm
now it's
on
gone.
the same team with everyone, and now no one's using this shit anymore. Yeah, like
Yep. Fear of missing out is a powerful asset.
it's not just fear of missing out, but it's also like inability to participate and depression like because of it. Like, you know, just because of how quickly things change. It's kind of like an MMO. Like they patch shit so quickly now that the items that you get, if
not
you
cool
buy
anymore.
it and the game's pay to play,
Yeah.
you buy it, you get to use it, and people that grind hours for it get to use it way after because it took them so long to get it. You just bought it, and then 2 patches later, it's like, okay, no one wants that item anymore.
It's the real life meta. You're just stuck in the last.
That's the real life meta, bro, right there.
I just like today I saw a video when they shut down the servers for the Matrix Online.
Oh my god, that's a great example, man. That was a really good MMO.
Yeah, I never played it because
Great, same, but like
I'm not old enough.
The thoughtfulness that went into it, and like the such unique ideas, or like it's a really tragic story. Yeah, everyone should watch that video.
Or Lego Universe. I don't know if you had that in the
I
US.
didn't know they had one.
Okay. Because Lego Universe was I feel like it was a complete failure, but it was my first time experiencing some online video game.
Nice.
And
Well,
my
it doesn't
computer
matter
could not-
what the game is, really. Just that you find a group to play with and create relationships and
Yeah,
friendships.
my laptop back in the day was not good enough to play this game, even though apparently it was made for everyone's PCs. So I don't know why, but apparently I had a real shit laptop.
Well, that's why Roblox was so successful, because people
Everyone
could
could play
make
it.
their own games in it, and anyone could play because it ran on shit computers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Never played any Roblox stuff myself, but
Me neither.
Same.
I just saw
Respect.
like a few videos about that, and that's it.
yeah, it's different now though. Now, like, it's impossible to get your game seen apparently, and you may as well just make a game outside of Roblox.
Something capitalism.
There you go.
It's the enough
Damn
bread
technology.
here. Because we're sitting here like, why did all the good days go away? What happened to TV? What happened to movie rental stores? So, what is going to be the killer app? What is going to be the thing that takes out streaming networks? Because what we see right now is fragmentation. We see IPs going in
Ooh, I
so
like
many
that.
different directions. We have Netflix was top dog for a little bit. They came out, they were even mailing DVDs to your house to cover the gaps. Now, in that process, they've kind of were big, then along came Hulu. And they're like, oh, we can do this too. Hulu's thing
for
was they had a
TV.
lot more advertising going on, so people were throwing money at them because they wanted to be part of a streaming service advertisement background.
And I think Hulu started to make their own series first.
Mm-hmm. And then Netflix almost shot its whole leg off when they were like, let's just greenlight everything. Let's put the most
Yeah.
variety out there and see what works.
Shit on there for a while,
Right.
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we're just going nuts. Almost only gonna have a bunch of brand new stuff. But now we have Peacock, we have Disney Plus, we have these major movers and shakers in the media world that have money
Apple
to
TV
burn.
Apple's like putting a lot of money into that now too.
Yeah, didn't they partner with Hulu?
They
Pretty
did,
early
yeah,
on.
Yeah, they did.
So we're seeing all these people, and we're fragmenting out. Eventually, you're going to see services to come out to bundle these different streaming networks. So you already kind of have players like that.
When that happens, just kill me, bro.
It's already kind of there, so don't die.
my God.
But so like Roku. So you have a streaming box for your thing that
That's
supports
true, that's
multiple
true.
platforms. So now you're paying, instead of one company,
Yeah.
a $200 a month for all these channels, you're paying $300 to 8 different companies, and having to replace your smart TV every couple years because it no longer has the programming or firmware to support the new streaming sites.
Yeah.
Which is why I think like they just lost some support for Netflix on like the PS3, I think. Don't quote me on that.
Really? Oh,
But
shit.
like eventually
I know
these-
Sony's phasing a lot of shit out on
Mhm.
the PS3.
eventually they're going to phase those out, and all of a sudden your PS3
Like,
is no longer going to be your Netflix box anymore.
yeah. I know, like, Final Fantasy 14 Online, a huge part of why that game's so popular is because of the cross-play.
Mm-hmm.
So Mac users, Windows users, PS3 and PS4 all can play on the same servers. but PS3 is being phased out now, and people are
Yep.
like, "What?
You want to talk about Final Fantasy? Let's talk about Final Fantasy 11. Now that was an MMO on the PS2.
Right. That. Oh no! Wait. What's the one with Vaughn? Is that 12? Vaughn, main character Vaughn. Anyway, yeah, 11. Yeah,
Yep,
right.
11 had that
PS2.
huge community. Or like the
How do I
Phantasy
not
Star.
It'll click for me. Yeah, Phantasy Star was huge,
Yeah.
With
especially in Japan, right? That
Yep.
was the whole thing too, because
So as they phase these
the connections
technologies
were so
out,
closer.
you're
so
going to
much
have
closer.
disenfranchised groups of people looking for a new home.
Yeah.
Which I feel like it's like the old bait and switch. Like, all right, we're going to shut down this, but hey, we're going to put up something real close to it right next to it. It's going to be almost as good, but it's either this or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with latest tech stuff, like you could just run an old server running the resources that the game would need. So I think with the virtual Utopia stream from George Clanton and 100% Electronica, they had like this partial event where they had a Unreal tournament server running.
Oh,
So
I
you
remember
could-
that, man. I wish I got to join that. I was
Yeah.
around for that too. I set an alarm and everything. On the
Yeah.
original Unreal Tournament with
Yeah,
the
no
original one.
mods. With
Yep.
no mods and
Exactly.
just default settings.
Yes.
Did you play?
I did not, because the server uptimes were like in the middle of the night for me.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because now it's like after midnight.
Versus
like-
6 p.m. for us here
Right.
in Eastern time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense.
And that's another kind of thing for abandonware. Like an argument for abandonware should be released. Like if you're not making money on it anymore and you're going to just let the IP rot, release the code. Release
Well,
it so people can still enjoy it.
Some things have already been kind of happening like that because Fusion Fall, tying it back to fucking Cartoon Network, there's the Fusion Fall fan project that has revived Fusion Fall, and like they're going kind of above and beyond because I think they're making original assets for it. Like they're updating it with their own content too, but underneath the moniker of Fusion Fall, I don't remember what the new subtitle is that basically says like, yes, this is the fan project, but there's other sites that are doing that stuff. But there's also older stuff that's learning to adapt because, like, I don't know if you guys know about Adventure Quest, that old thing, that's still running, but they're remaking themselves.
The
And so is-
browser game?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
And they're still doing events. They're still updating it. RuneScape, I mean, that's still going. And
Yeah, that's
Well, they're on Steam now.
yeah, and so the thing is, well, because there's also the two different versions. You can either do RuneScape Classic or
Old school.
RuneScape New, and just it seems that their fan projects have really enlightened the fact that like people want to keep it around, and so companies sometimes are like, okay, yeah, you can just if you want to do this, if you
Mhm.
want to, go through the trouble of running it yourselves, and sure, basically as
cool.
long as they're not monetizing it, because I'm pretty sure Fusion Fall will never be monetized, which that's a good thing. But if they start monetizing it, then
Right.
that would become a problem. But yeah,
I
I think
I'm okay with them if I am not going to say you should break the law.
this is what
But
I'll
I
say.
feel
If
like
I'm
you
there
wanna-
okay
needs to
as an
be-
authority on the matter.
if you
there
want to
needs to
donate
be.
to the I think it's okay to donate to them to be like, hey, if this helps the server cost,
Right.
we'll
There's some
donate.
legalese to go around it. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, at what
Mm.
point do we want to preserve our future outside of this? Like, just like Vaporwave. How many people have monetized Vaporwave using samples that weren't theirs?
Yeah.
Now, that's a big debate, a lot of heated topic on there. But, like, how much of that is going to keep those things alive forever? So like let's look at it like not as just a monetary or what's right and wrong, what's theft and what's not theft. Looking at it as, are these ideas going to stand the test of time, or are they going to go away forever? Kind of like projects like the Internet Archive, things that are all kind of gray market areas for like, should we hold on to this data? Is this data ours to hold on to? It's here until somebody DMCA's it. So like if someone's not going to be a good custodian of information for historical purposes, there should be an additional like freedom to do that. And until there is that freedom, people need to take it upon themselves to save it for future, posterity.
That's so tragic. Like it's up to the loyal fans of whatever the material is to save it in whatever medium they, to the best of their ability, whether it's they have VHS, maybe they have super crazy all kinds of disk space and fast computers and network and like the infrastructure to support something like that. But most of the time, especially in the 90s when people were just doing home recordings of whatever it was.
The bootleg community have some of the recordings of original band songs that have never ever been released and will never see the light of day again.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So
I have a couple. I have some, I just linked one the other day by Taking Back Sunday. It's like, dude, would we have that still? Because they don't want that shit around, that's for sure.
Remember, kids, it's only illegal because they made it a crime.
No, it's not a crime if you're not getting caught.
Yeah.
I think that was an American Dad reference.
Yeah, it's true.
Or maybe Family Guy. Same, but different.
Yeah, I've heard that for sure.
So in other words, like we would still have things like Nick Reboot. We would still have access to go watch old shows. We could then turn around and be like, hey there, sport, come on over here and watch the stuff that, your dad wasted his childhood watching.
Because I guess, there's just no money in preserving it, and it does cost a lot, especially if you want to keep that high quality original raw material.
There's a lot of cost. We're fighting basically space, and the people don't own the space.
Yeah, that's also true. It's funny, like, you talked about, like, until we have the permission to store these things legally and not have it be DMCA'd on archive.org. It's like, we owe it to these archivists to be cataloging this stuff for what we can, and like, because companies aren't going to spend the money on it, and then when it goes into the public domain, which is 100 years now after death of the creator,
which is ridiculous.
60?
It's
crazy.
70, but it may have changed to 100.
Yeah, 70 or 100. So it's like, bro, like, companies aren't going to care about doing this for 70 fucking years. Like, companies close in a year. Like, things are going to be so different by then. How are we, like, not preserving and celebrating this stuff? Like, think about classic video games and ROM set culture, emulator culture.
So I know part of that is like,
we would have no old games. Like, Nintendo fucking virtual console can suck my dick.
So the part of it is that, like, I know some of it is like, if a business closes, that the rules kind of apply in case if the business reopens, so that they still retain the rights even after, closing their doors, because they can reopen them, or they can be under a new moniker and still receive those rights to the properties. It just is I don't know. Copyright law, completely complex.
Double edge, of course.
99% bullshit. And like, that from what I know, at least in that regard, that's why we still kind of do it. And it's because we've learned that historically, basically just kind of think back to how copyright laws are kind of a still recent thing. Like,
yeah,
because there's a lot of shit in the past that didn't get copyrighted because it wasn't around. The people who the people who could have benefited from it didn't get benefited from it, and now it's gone to the point to where too many people are abusing the copyright system, and that's causing problems. I mean, like, if you want to see an example of that, I suggest you go to I think it was Nexpo that I watched that did I think it's just called Worlds Online or something like that. This thing that's been running since the 90s and is still up, and the only reason it's up is because it's a copyright trap that this random terrible like low poly 3D online game is still up because the guy running it can sue Bungie for having online players in Destiny, because technically he owns that property, the right to
This thing looks terrible.
To have a concept of having multiple people play in a server online. He it's like a cash cow, and that's the only reason why it's still alive is because of copyright laws.
Copyright trolls are destroying it.
That's exactly what he is. That's what he's even described in his the video as a copyright troll, and that basically he can sit on this server and maintain its cost because whenever a new game comes out and they're like, oh yeah, we have multiplayer lobbies, then he swoops in and is like, I don't think so. And basically he's like, fork over the money and we'll see.
Crazy, man.
So you're saying things can only get worse from here?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, but when you were talking about like, what's the killer app? I think right now we're honestly heading a place of like, the companies are gonna like dissolve themselves, because I'm slowly seeing that people are kind of fed up with what's going on. I want to watch the new stuff. Like, there's been a resurgence. Like, who would have thought people mention Columbo?
I can still pick that up over the air. Like, if I'm like, it's an old TV that's still got the digital tuner in it, I let that run for like 30 minutes to find some local channels, and they're playing like Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I find myself sitting there for 3 hours going, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. And
oh my God.
People are like finding old stuff, and I think also people are just kind of fed up. They're like, I don't have the money to be paying for all these subscription services. It's basically cable, just divided up, and I don't like that. And so people are just like, YouTube is free. People have been uploading like
for now
stuff that they've recorded for now. But they've just been like, there's old recordings of old shows that I've never even heard about and I don't know about, but I want to see it. And stuff like that. So I think, honestly, I don't think there's going to be some that's like, oh, this is going to completely kill cable, or, oh, this is going to be the one thing that everyone's watching stuff on, because honestly, I just think it's so divided that it's just going to keep dividing itself. There won't be ever like one big beacon.
It's going to take a few generations.
They're a telecom company mainly, so it's once you have all that, it's like you are the monopoly pretty much.
Yeah, when you own the roads.
Yeah,
I think it's going to come to a point where there's a huge disconnect between types of people, wherein in cities and rural areas and versus urban areas, you already kind of see a bit of a disconnect where people in rural areas don't want any stimulation, any ads, any tech. That's not totally true, of course, but like you do see a gradation. It's not, everyone's not into tech. There's a lot of people who don't want it, right? So, but we also see a lot of people who embrace it, or people in between, kind of like us. Like we like that old tech, we like that analog stuff, but we love Wi-Fi.
We're
right? Yeah.
It's
it's like it's a double-edged sword, sort of. So it's going to get to a point where certain technologies are going to come out, whether it's biometrics or it's chips inserted into you, or it's visual retina thing, or like we saw a lot of experiments with Google Glass. Like, where did that go? Are they still working on that? Like, what's going on there?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I think
And
augmented reality will be a
failure.
thing.
Any Google project
Personalized.
has always turned into something else later. Like
Yeah.
Google Voice, it used to be Project Grand Central.
Right.
That whole thing turned into their AI's voice recognition, by allowing people to use Google Voice for free to make phone calls. They recorded all of those phone calls and used that because they had the voicemail transcription service in Google Voice. That's how they got all of the good AI libraries for natural speech, which is why Google understands people's voices now.
Yeah, that is crazy. Whew. Makes sense.
I mean, it was free. Remember, when something's free, you're the product.
Yep, exactly. And so we see a lot of people who are realizing that more and more with each day. I've been saying things like that for years, but again, I'm wired in, but I'm also aware because maybe it's, who knows why, I think if you talk to people about it and you're in tune with what's going on, maybe you won't be a victim. But there's so many people who just use the technology as a means to get by that will be victims. And it's going to get to a point where the tech is so personalized that if you don't have it and you don't use it, you may be disconnected from people that do have it and do use it. So it may be like and I'm talking like 10, 20 years, but it may be a split between like the rich and the poor, or the rich and everyone else that we already see, but even broadening that gap even more, sort of, where there's new crazy expensive technologies like nanobots or things that improve your health or vision, that people are going to start being able to afford, that are going to set them up, or designer babies, being able to choose your kid's genes and make sure it doesn't have allergies or gonna develop some shit later. We're really gonna, once those people have kids, they're gonna be so disconnected from the people that can't incorporate themselves with the new tech that comes out. So I don't know if it's gonna be necessarily an app, but just whatever it is, it's gonna broaden the divide between people.
Yeah, I agree. That is going to be, it's something we see already with things we take for granted, like the mail service in the U.S. at least. We have people, they're trying to do away with public mail because it's losing money. And they're saying like, well, a lot of these companies like FedEx, they don't go out to these rural areas to deliver things. So they rely on those things. It's called last mile service, where you have like one dude whose job is to drive like all day out to these really far out places to make sure mail as a service gets delivered. But if a company takes over, they're going to be like, well, yeah, we'll deliver your mail, but since it's inconvenient to us, it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
So
that's a great example. Great example.
I think it's going to be generational. You're going to have people who are, wired in, like you said, people who are completely against it, and then you're going to have the people in the middle, and they're going to raise their kids to be like them, either in the middle, highly wired in, or highly disconnected. And then as time progresses, that's going to be like, kids are going to grow up not knowing much about the other options, so they're going to assume this is always how it was. Like kids growing up today, smartphones will be ubiquitous. A diskette, like pretty soon the Save logo is not going to be a floppy disk picture. Like so
people are like, what is that? It's a Save logo. No, it's the floppy disk logo.
Right. So like we're gonna move further and further away.
Line where someone shows a kid a floppy and asks what's this, and the kid's like, "This is the Save icon."
Right.
Yeah.
Because like these contextual clues are lost over generations. But we also got to look back, like who are the people writing our laws, who are writing our policy that allows technology to go forward. And these people are mostly in their 70s, so these people were alive before floppy disks. So, but yeah, like I think we currently are in that world right now. We have people who are connected in the middle, kind of like foot in both sides, and then people who are disconnected. Some people are disconnected by, not by choice, but because they don't have the money or the means to be connected, and then you have people who are connected again against their will because that's just how they were brought up to not know that there's another option. So the people kind of in the middle can kind of pick and choose and see like, hey, both sides have pros and cons.
Yeah, it reminds me of it's like how corporate things happen like silently, and decisions that they make are kind of like trickle their way down into society and change society like silently. Like hip hop music, for example.
Hippopotamus.
It used to be like, oh, House Hippos, yo. There's some old TV programming. You guys remember the House Hippo commercial?
No.
You never got the House Hippos commercial? Holy shit. You got to YouTube
probably
it right
somewhere
now.
in my deep subconscious.
I'm
Like
putting it in
everything
there.
I've ever seen ever is deep in my subconscious because
I think it was a Canadian thing. Pizza Slut was supposed to join the podcast today. We were talking about it recently. Canada had this thing called Heritage Minutes. Did you know basketball is a Canadian invention? I do, because of Canada's Heritage Minutes TV programming things.
is
They're
this like
little...
the turn the poison sockets off commercial?
I don't know that one. It could quite possibly. But the House Hippos one is like a PSA about like imagination or something. I don't even remember. But I used to think that, and many kids did when they saw this commercial, that little baby hippos that you could fit in your hand were an actual pet you could buy. And everyone in Canada like knows that thing from their past, right? So it's just a weird tangent I just remembered because of that. And now I've, of course, forgotten the original idea I was talking about.
Sorry, man.
It was House... what was it?
Talking about hip hop.
Oh, thank you. Yes, hip hop. How it used to be political and challenging, and you know, it had like a stance and a purpose, like Public Enemy, or maybe even like Run DMC or something. And in 1996, there was this act that was passed that made, all these huge record labels were buying up smaller hip hop labels like Def Jam. And eventually, all the hip hop was owned by like 3 or 4 giant conglomerates. And they passed this act in 1996 that basically said like all the music they're going to make out of hip hop is no longer going to be like conscientiously polemical or challenging or political or whatever, or smart and artistic, and it's going to be violent and sexualized. And now look where we are, you know, like it's literally the reason rap and hip hop music is, you know, for the most part, why it is today, glorifying like gun violence and gang shooting and money and promiscuous lifestyle and whatever. Like, you know, I'm not saying what's good and what's bad, but it is why it happened. So it's like, what else is there that's like influencing why we created vaporwave that was done by these like couple dudes behind closed doors in quiet rooms?
But they introduced the explicit content warning sign, though.
Yeah, it's not censorship if it shows all those things.
Yeah, it just warns you about them.
Yeah. No, I mean, oh yeah, we're not going to talk about politics, but we can talk about this other stuff, so people can't say rap's censored, because no, we still talk about these, like, things like violence and sex and things like that. So it's not censored. So don't call it censored. We're not censoring you. But again, like what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Without those things, because those are money-based economies. Like, if rap is talking bad about politics, which is, lobbied for by those companies, so those companies get better, wiggle room to operate inside of government control. Why would they do that? So, how everything eventually is owned by everything, by one major company. I think back in the day it was Viacom owned pretty much every major media outlet and probably still does.
Mm.
Yeah, you
Crazy.
can trace kind of everything back up the chain.
Yeah.
And that's what killed cartoons.
Hmm.
To tie it all back.
Yeah. No, I saw this video recently. I forget. It was like the Telecommunications Act of 1996. That's what it was. Look that
Sounds
shit up.
evil. It sounds evil.
Yeah.
It's like the first version of net neutrality.
Oh man.
Yeah. Before the internet.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm
Anyway.
currently- yeah.
We digress.
Oh, do we ever?
I have two things we talked about I wanted to dive into more a little bit if we still have time.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. Sitcoms, man.
Yeah.
How good sitcoms were, like Third Rock from the Sun. Like,
What was the downfall, you think?
get
And-
right
and
out
why-
of town, man. That's all I need, yo. Third
Yeah.
Rock from the Sun, perfect.
When did they stop being good, and why was it Big Bang Theory?
It was also like Everybody Loves Raymond. Like shit, like those ones toward the end there, like it just rehashing the same old idea. King of Queens, I think.
Mike and Molly.
Well, that was also a smaller outlet. That was what? The WB?
Scrubs.
No, CW.
CW, sorry.
Scrubs.
CW never really made a good show yet.
leave
Yeah.
Scrubs alone.
Leave Scrubs
CW.
alone.
I ain't gonna hear shit about Scrubs, okay?
I never really watched Scrubs, but the only thing that I
The
know
first few
from
seasons
Scrubs
are
was
okay.
when I was 10, I broke my arm and I had a room in the hospital with one other dude, and he was watching Scrubs all day.
That's so weird.
Oh,
So
that's
we're
not
like-
great, but
It's like watching Willy Wonka eating a chocolate bar.
Oh yeah, true. That's weird.
Yeah.
I can't get
So-
enough of these fucking.
I'm living Scrubs. I am so immersed.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. I was trying to think of what the clothes were that nurses wear. I was like, what are they called?
Scrubs.
they're called Scrubs.
Yeah,
I feel like we're just talking
can't get
about
enough
this.
of these scrubs. Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yes,
do think
good sitcoms like Third Rock. You
My
know,
Brother
like,
and Me.
why was it Big Bang Theory the last one? I don't know, man. Like, there weren't any other ones running anymore, were there?
well,
Around that
the
time?
British did sitcoms better than we did.
Mm.
I will go out there and say my favorite sitcom is a British show, is the IT Crowd.
Oh, yes.
I
Fuck
love
yeah.
the IT Crowd.
Amazing
As
show.
an
Right.
IT guy, this is one of the best shows you could ever watch.
Yeah.
It is. It was like if Big
Even
Bang
though it-
Theory didn't suck.
Even though with the old tech they're using, it's still
Mhm.
a lot of fun because people don't change, only the tech does.
Yeah, exactly. So it still holds up.
Tech's still not idiot proof.
Right. Yeah, like all the jokes are still very,
Relevant.
Mhm.
Yeah.
relevant
definitely.
area. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Lost my words.
But
like-
like the whole. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the whole journey that shows used to take, like the actors do a season or they do a couple episodes, they see if it gets picked up or it's just the pilot, then it gains success or whatever. You know, there's so many failed shows, but like that 70s show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, bro. Like
Oh yeah.
think
Yeah,
about how
that
the
was
characters develop
Bel-Air.
over time.
That was primetime TV. Primetime
just-
TV through the
like-
90s.
I just
Yeah.
recently watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because
Mm.
it's kind of before my time because I think it's from 97 or
I think it's
something.
before all of our time, a
And
little bit.
Mhm.
until The Fresh Prince got localized over here and stuff. It took a lot of time, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I never watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on TV, but I watched it on Netflix. Like I started watching last year. Usually my ritual of watching Fresh Prince is like grab a Ben and Jerry's ice cream at 2 a.m. and then watch a couple episodes while I'm eating the whole cup.
That's
What about the Wayans brothers?
there you go.
We didn't have this over here, I guess.
Wan Brothers. I don't know that.
Oh man, with John
WAN?
Witherspoon.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh man, that shit was funny as hell.
I don't know. I think part of why Big Bang Theory, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into why it failed, but I think mostly is the premise.
I mean,
of
it
the
was
show,
a raging success. I
Well,
just think a lot of people
in
hated
a
it.
certain audience is what I would argue, because I think it was a lot of adults, and this has been said by a lot of people, but I think it's a lot of adults that are like, oh, this is what my kids like, when in reality, that's not what your kids are like. That's why younger generation don't connect, is because they're not written like the younger generation. They're written not, they're like, oh, this is what a modern nerd is like. It's like, no, we don't, we're not sterile. We're not, up on this ivory tower looking down at people that don't understand these obscure references from sci-fi TV shows that ran for X amount of years. And we don't, we're not working at universities as, smart, super smart doctors and stuff, while also failing to have casual relationships with people around us. It's like, that's not that's not reflective of us, even though it's written as if it is to reflect us. And so I would say it was mostly popular among parents that, it's like, oh, this must be what my nerdy kid is like. It's like, no.
I think it was like Rick and Morty for people over 40.
I mean, kind
They're
of.
like, if I like this, it means I'm smart.
I think that's part of an element to it, but I think also just comparing it to older shows is like, older shows were taking on just very general issues that everyone could kind of relate with.
Yeah,
And
who's lying? Or that '70s show comes to mind.
Well, even Full House and stuff like that. And it's like they weren't making tons of like references to different stuff, because that's what half the humor of Big Bang Theory is. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, remember this, remember that,
Something
remember
reference.
reference, and
Something
it's,
reference.
that's why Family Guy is failing, is because that's their jokes. And then, I think South Park did a good commentary on that. The fact that now we're in this area, it's like,
While
oh, you
being
remember
it itself.
this, you remember that, and
Remember?
yeah, and
Remember?
it's just like,
Yeah, I remember.
now it's just like, that sucks. It all sucks. Stop reminding everyone of just references, because that's not humor.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that's kind of why Big Bang Theory has fallen off, or it was kind of the falling off point. It's just because I think writing was trying to be like, we have to hit contemporary issues. We have to connect with today's audience, and they shot for a younger audience, and it didn't work. So
was Twitter around at that point?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Twitter's been around since 2006.
Yeah, I mean, like, were people using it a lot?
If it was booming,
did companies have Twitter accounts?
I think
and shit,
Facebook was bigger at that time. I think Facebook was the more go-to for that. But I
wonder if they're just like, if
sitcom.
Twitter, if social media had anything to do with that.
I don't know if that was necessarily it. I think it's just more of like, I don't know. I feel like the writers were uninformed, like as if they didn't know anything about the crowd that they were writing for. So they were like, we think this is what will fit. And then they found out it doesn't fit. It fits with the older generation because they're like, this is what we think of the generation, that's after us.
It's basically just lampooning a different generation. It's basically saying like, oh, this connects with me, and it talks about things I don't know about, and now I'm gonna blindly enjoy it.
And then the worst part too is that they started trying to touch on a serious topic, kind of alluding to stuff about mental disabilities and stuff, and they totally took it wrong. They did it totally incorrectly.
Oh, they botched it, eh?
I would say they botched it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't know, like they tried taking on some serious issues, they botched it, and I think that can be said for a lot of other sitcoms too. But I think that they just notably kind of fell into that, and so I think from there it's just right now, I think sitcom in general is just kind of a dying genre, except for maybe outside of what like the UK is doing, just because they have I say they have a totally different kind of comedy. They think about comedy differently.
Oh yeah.
And so
Does It's Always Sunny count as a sitcom?
that
Theoretically, yes.
theoretically, yeah, but that's the whole thing. It's not shot like one. There's no live studio audience, and there's no awkward pausing for jokes.
Laugh track.
Yeah, there's no laugh track. There's no, the same camera angle being used. And then it's like,
Yeah.
Also,
You
it's
know-
less people watching television.
Also, that's more like out. It's more zany. People are willing to accept Always Sunny in Philadelphia
It's like
because
The
it's
Office.
so off the
Yeah, it's
wall.
handheld.
like
that-
mockumentary is what I think you'd call it, yeah. But
Yeah.
even though they're not really doing the like one-on-one stuff. Oh, okay, so that's a good example. Is Modern Family actually is, or at least at one time was pretty popular, and people were actually calling it a good show. And it wasn't quite a sitcom; it was a mockumentary, but like that was still around. Like that came after Big Bang Theory, I think. But that saw way more success than Big Bang Theory. Even though some people would kind of say it's like, oh, it's got like sitcom elements.
But it's shot
so-
like The Office, and people
exactly
love that.
mockumentary. And so, like, I think maybe that also just reflects that we're finally done with the sitcoms. We're
Quote,
kinda sick of
unquote.
them. Yeah,
It's like Parks and Rec is a sitcom too, but also it's got that
that I would
feel
call it more
recorded
mockumentary because
mockumentary,
like
comedy.
anything where you're kind of having personal interviews with the characters, and I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like you can kind of tell
the
when you see
awareness
it.
of the audience.
Yeah, well, more like they're aware that there's a camera filming them is what it's more like. It's like they know that there's a cameraman following them around, and so that that's what I would say, because that's where Modern Family fits in too, because they have the personal talking with the camera. But that's why Sunny in Philadelphia is so weird, because it doesn't have that. It's not acknowledging that there's a camera on them. It's just following them around. So I think it's
Yeah.
just kind of that.
It's more
Yeah.
pure when it comes to sitcom because you're getting a situation introduction with a title card. It's almost
Yeah.
like here's a half-hour skit, and this is how it unfolded.
Yeah.
Because you're almost getting like this is how it had happened. You're accepting everything you're seeing as has happened instead of happening in front of you.
Right.
And, same thing with Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I was about to mention
Exactly.
Curb. Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Curb versus Seinfeld. Like that's kind of a great
yeah.
case study.
hmm So
Yeah, and I'd say that Curb is surviving much better than
Yeah.
Seinfeld has.
Mhm.
That's also that's acting as if there wasn't a bunch of drama with some of the people
Yeah.
involved, but we're not
But
going to talk about that.
It's a great case study because like it's more about this style and the production of the show that I think is maybe not about the longevity, but the difference in that type of sitcom where you probably couldn't make Seinfeld today, right? And
Yeah.
because of the whole TV, like studio camera setup type thing.
you could only make it
Imagine-
in a mocking
Excuse me.
way.
Imagine if they had smartphones on Seinfeld.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's back to the smartphones. I told you. But another one that comes to mind is like we all know Seinfeld. Not everyone knows Curb. And here's another. Who doesn't know Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I actually didn't know about it for a long time. Like, I mean, I actually don't know a lot of people who watch it, surprisingly. I think it depends, because I know that I've heard people reference it, but I know I have only seen it come up on TV once, and it was not
Wow,
even with
that
Drew
is
Carey.
surprising.
It's
to
not
me.
even with Drew Carey as the host. I had to find old episodes of it on YouTube. I don't even remember how I stumbled upon it, but I know people talk about it. It's down to one of those early sketch shows. But I think a better example is SNL, because like SNL's been running for a long time, and there's a ton of people who know SNL for better or worse.
Yeah.
I'd be hard pressed to find anyone who doesn't know what SNL is.
SNL's popular just like the Empire State's Building is popular. Like, it's going to hold that time block, and it's going to hold that claim because of where it was, how it happened, and it's going to keep being propped up. It can continue to suck forever, and people will still watch it.
Yeah. I also think it's very American, whereas Whose Line, like we didn't get too much SNL up here. Like I've seen clips, basically. I've never actually seen the show. But we got Whose Line Is It Anyway here.
I mean, it does have at least one
characters.
Canadian actor.
Colin. Yeah. See, you know his name.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I think he's funny as hell. But like,
yeah,
I had to look up old episodes.
But like,
of that.
could you do Whose Line Is It Anyway now? No, no fucking way.
I mean, it's still
you
going.
can. It would
It's
just
still
suck.
going.
But with a new name and a new thing.
Yeah.
If Whose Line
not.
didn't exist, like if this was the first time we saw a show like that, you couldn't do it now because you'd probably have to like do it on Twitch.
Improv shows. So let's go ahead and categorize Whose Line. Whose Line would be ostensibly an improv show, right? Whereas we have these quote unquote talent shows, like The Voice, The Masked Singer, that all started with American Idol and stuff like that. Like these performance shows where it's not like a variety show, but it kind of is. Like, hey, let's tune in to see what is happening this week. It's going to be new. Same premise. Like, you know the rules of the game. Like that's how they become familiar and popular. It's like, okay, I know Monopoly. I know the rules of Monopoly. But if I play with different people, the game might go very different. So that's why they keep just remixing the cast. So it's always fresh.
Yeah.
Just like Survivor. That's why Survivor lasts forever. That's why we have these other... So let's get away from sitcoms and let's talk about reality TV. What people really call the death of TV.
Like reality TV today is like hot takes.
Yeah.
Or hot ones. Sorry.
Wait.
Hot ones. Where
Like
they eat
the
the wings.
YouTube?
That's like an interview. That's not even like reality.
That's like,
TV.
yeah, that's an interview show. That's closer to...
Oh,
like,
sorry. I'm thinking talk shows. Sorry. Never mind.
Yeah,
okay,
no.
I'm talking about reality,
yeah.
like Anthony Bourdain or something.
That's still like
That's still
just
highbrow.
travel. No, like we're talking about Survivor. We're
talking
talking
about
about
Jersey
The
Shore?
Bachelor.
Yeah, Jersey Shore, Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Okay.
What else?
Housewives.
Man, I'm so happy I live in Canada, man. We don't have as many of those, really.
Oh yeah,
We just
don't
hear
worry.
about
We have
yours.
we
all
have-
the garbage over here.
We
have
all
less of
the
these.
tripe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rest
We
of the
also
country
have-
doesn't...
We had Big Brother Canada, actually.
We have
Oh,
Big
no.
Brother in Germany too.
Was everyone
yeah.
really polite to each other the entire time?
No. At least
Everyone was
over
on their
here,
best
it's-
behavior.
It's like all bitchin'.
See, the world doesn't have to make garbage because we make enough for them.
Yeah.
They can just wait
that's
for it to be
Very
localized.
true.
Yeah.
It's a weird effect
Yeah.
because so many people have even said, like, I feel like there's a lot of people online who have said they're like, I got my first impressions of the U.S. from watching Jersey Shore, and it wasn't a very good one. And it's like, that's because
But it
it's
was
not.
accurate.
It's like that, and then Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Like those are the two that people overseas watch a lot, and they get their opinions on, and then it's just kind of like, it's not a real reflection of America. It's extreme, specific kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But reality TV is just getting known for that stupid, because reality TV is how do we create conflict against in a group of people is literally what it is. Like,
Yeah.
if you see ads for
Let's
growing
make some
up
drama.
at top, that's all it is. It's just people yelling at each other, people getting mad at each other, people fist fighting, and that's it. And that's like, some networks are completely built on that. And, you know, they literally, I mean, there's shows where they pay people to incite stuff. And I know that
Oh,
there
yeah.
was something on, like, apparently with, like,
fights.
The Bachelor, they'll be like, oh, you're going on this date, but we've secretly contacted your ex to appear at the same restaurant that you're going to go to, just to create
I wonder
drama.
what's going to happen. Stay
And-
tuned after the commercial to find out.
Yeah, and so it's just like, you know, reality TV is really just kind of that's
That was
really
really
all
big in the
it is.
2000s. I feel like
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah,
that kind of took the country by storm. People were no longer watching like fantasy stuff, and they're like, I only want to care about like I've always wanted to
Survivor.
know what an ice road trucker does
well,
or a
Yeah.
crab
even
fisherman.
before that, I think Real World is the one that kind of did it. But Real World wasn't even really. That was before the constant conflict stuff. I feel
Right.
like that was during the time where they're just like, I want to be able to connect with other people through the television. And so those were just people that were actually like living through like current issues and going
Was that
through
on
shit.
MTV?
Yeah, I think so. And I think I remember like one of the big points that gets brought up is that there was an issue. I think someone on the show may have had like AIDS or something, which then people were just like, oh, you know, I can actually relate to this person now. And so that's where I think it took off is, you know, they started making that. And then later examples were, you know, stuff like the Osbournes. That was a reality show. And then it
Yeah.
started being like, let's look at celebrity lives and see how we can connect with celebrities. And then it spiraled out of
Downhill from
control
there.
to where
We-
we now have like WeTV, which is just nothing but reality TV shows.
Do y'all remember Kenny versus Spenny?
Oh, yeah, dude. Love
Oh,
that
shit,
show.
yeah.
That's another great example. Or Jackass. You know,
Yeah.
like CKY
Oh,
started because of VHSs, got a huge following because of that brand recognition, was able to team up with, you know, Johnny Knoxville and make like a hit out of the park, like recipe for success, right?
That was a huge thing for MTV, and that kind of like counterculture stuff they were trying to push, like to keep people interested and engaged. Like that spawned off the Wild Boys and Viva La
Wild
Bam
Boys.
and like all that stuff people wanted to see because it's just like a modern day sideshow.
Yeah.
It's a spectacle, and people can't take their eyes from
They're
it.
the jester.
There was one really bad reality show I was hooked on. The Mole.
Oh, I remember that.
Mole.
That was forever. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. It was bad.
Crazy. Never heard of that one. What,
It was
what
pretty
was it
much-
about?
It was
Obviously,
like
there's a mole.
there-
Oh,
yeah.
we got pizza.
Hey,
We got new team member in the house. What's going on, Pizza? Welcome to the podcast.
what up?
Sorry to interrupt. We're talking about
no.
the show The Mole right now.
The mole?
it's pretty much just a reality show where somebody in your group is a betrayer. You know what? It's like Among
Wait.
Us.
I played board games.
Is this?
like that.
I was just about to say, is this Among Us, the
You know, I
TV
just-
show?
It was pretty much Among Us,
Yeah.
the TV show.
Is nothing sacred.
But yeah, they eliminate people every.
Wait, dude,
every week.
Anderson Cooper was the host of this?
Holy shit.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. He looks
He
so
wasn't
young.
always super cool. He
Yeah.
had his moments.
Damn. Look at that intro. Oh my god, that is so aesthetic.
Or like we had, what was another one? Like game show TV kicked off with like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, now that took the world by storm. Holy
It
shit.
did. People, because $1 million was like, you gotta remember, if you account for inflation,
Inflation.
$1 million was ridiculous then.
Hold on.
Okay?
Let's see exactly what it was. When did
So-
Who Wants
And also
to Be?
because you had Regis Philbin as the host.
1999.
So.
That's true. All right, so okay, we still covering that decade as well. 1999 when it
thing is-
aired.
I don't remember, was Millionaire first a British show, then American, or American, then British? Because I know a lot of our game shows have migrated from over the pond.
Yeah, British have a lot of good panel shows.
That's true. Their
then
panel shows are
eventually
more
they-
like variety shows where they're like get like guests on to talk about stuff. It's more just the BSing, and then the game is the secondary thing.
Yeah, they
Like
just
what
shoot
was
the
that
shit.
one?
With
Oh,
Stephen
God.
Fry.
It's not like
Oh,
TV.
QI?
What the hell is it called? Something.
QI is really
QI. Yeah.
There's 8 out of 10
Quiz
cat,
show.
8 out of
Quiz
8 out
show?
of 10
Never mind
cats
the
does
Bus Talks?
countdown.
Oh, Countdown. That's what I'm thinking of. Yep.
Countdown, yeah. Which
Well, there was an
there's two
entire
different
network.
versions of- there's the 2 different versions of Countdown. There's normal Countdown, and then there's 8 out of 10 cats does Countdown. One of them
Right.
is more highbrow, other one is comedy.
Yeah, Would I Lie to You? There's so many good ones.
Yeah, Would I Lie to You? Was it something I said?
Whose line is it? Is British originally too? I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, so there's an entire there was and there I still there might be. I haven't checked. There's a game show network, so that's why you have like America fell in love with the 2 biggest game shows we had was going to be Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune because they all aired at primetime, beginning of primetime TV, which is like 7 p.m. Eastern. And that was like what everyone like when you're done watching the evening news, that's what's next. You're gonna watch The Wheel or you're gonna watch Jeopardy.
That's what I'm talking about. Like that
was the nostalgia.
collective
Like I'm sitting at the dinner table.
expectation. Yeah, with
or
your family
I'm,
making dinner, something
with the
something
TV
like that.
tray because the
TV
TV was the
Yeah,
center of
dude.
the home.
It was the center of the home. Now it's just like the entertainment thing.
Yeah,
If you
Now
I'm
it's
sure
like, hey,
it
spend
sort of
some
is,
time with
but
your family.
every kid's
Come
got
watch
their
TV
own
with
TV
us.
now. Yeah,
2 in every room.
got 2 in every room. Yeah, plus tablet.
I
10
only have
tablets.
my TV for either my Chromecast to stream YouTube from,
Mhm.
or for my Switch
Yeah,
because I haven't set up all my old consoles yet.
Yeah.
Because I moved.
just use your monitor.
I moved in my apartment a couple months ago, and I still have not set up all my old consoles because I own Super Nintendo, Dreamcast,
Nice.
GameCube, Wii.
I stupidly sold all of mine like 5 years ago.
Please tell me not
they take
GameStop.
they take up
No,
space.
to like a
Okay.
local Toronto store, but still, I
They take up
traded in.
space.
I probably got 20 PS3 games out of it. This is when PS3 was like pretty big.
Mhm.
So yeah, not a total loss, but like now these PS3 games are like worthless compared to those old.
Who could
console
ever
games.
see that happening though?
At
There
the
was
time,
never going
I
to be a
didn't-
4 or a 5.
Yeah, well, I didn't think the retro boom would come back like it has. Because
Fair.
people always love old games, but now it's like all about that shit.
Mhm.
By the way, Mega, you gotta peace out.
Just saw that.
Yeah, I got bounce.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on the show. It was awesome talking to you, man.
You too.
We'll talk to you soon.
Nighty night.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Looks like the inflation was 66% from 1999.
Oh my
So that's
god.
1.6 million. Whose line is it anyway? Dollars.
Yeah, now it should just be like, who wants to win a Bitcoin?
Yeah.
That's only like what 50 something thousand as
Now
of
it's like
today?
70.
Now it's
No,
76.
60.
No, it
Today-
dipped.
60 something.
Oh,
Today,
you're
today
gonna
I
make me look it
saw
up.
76. I'm on Coinbase right now.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I'm
It
on
was?
Binance.
It went down a lot recently. But...
It did go down.
74.
Oh, yeah, dude.
74.
74 Canadian, yeah.
Oh, this
yeah,
is
I'm
the
talking about
Canada
the
Canada
Freedom-
Coinbase.
Freedom
Here we
coins.
go. Freedom Coinbase. Yeah. All right.
Freedom
Right.
coins.
Yeah, the good old USD.
USD,
Yeah,
yeah.
85. 58.
US Dizzle.
58. Whoops.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
See?
I think
I'm right in a
Ethereum
different
might-
number.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be good because Hillary Clinton did that speech. Did you see she did a speech warning that crypto is like undermining the dollar? That means
Oh boy,
but
go buy.
in.
Everybody buy.
Exactly.
Woo.
It's
Everybody loves
pushing our
controversy.
pants.
Gonna wait for one more dip.
This is it. This is
Yeah,
the one.
I think Bitcoin is just like
I feel
not
like
a
shit's
good
gonna
way
crash,
to not a good way to make money from crypto.
No, the best way to
I
make
think-
money is with a time machine.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Current knowledge in a
Pizza
time
and I-
machine, or to sell pictures of monkeys.
Pizza and I were just the other day. We're talking about the first transaction through Bitcoin was someone bought a pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a coffee.
And I think they paid 30 Bitcoin or something for
10,000.
it. 10. Oh my God.
10,000 Bitcoin. It
Oh
was something
my
ridiculous.
God.
But
Yeah.
you gotta understand that was like.
And what was the other one?
No one would believe that.
Oh, the game tournament winner.
Yeah, StarCraft had a tournament. I saw the prizes. 4th to 8th place all won 50 Bitcoins each.
Yep.
Holy shit.
In like 2012.
So now
or
first
They
to
did way
4th,
better
the
than
losers
everybody
now.
else.
Yeah. Who's the winner now?
$100 for first place, but 25 Bitcoins for 4th. Amazing.
Holy crap. Okay, that's that's
My
crazy. I
mediocrity
remember the first,
paid off.
I remember
Yeah.
the first thing about Bitcoin was on Galileo back in I think 2012 or something like. Yeah, we have the first Bitcoin cafe in Berlin, and
nice.
Oh, wow.
then you can buy a coffee with Bitcoin. But
You're
I think
sad.
back in the day it was like 1 Bitcoin was worth 100 euros, which is something like $120,
Yeah.
Couple
Maybe
cases of coffee.
something like that. Maybe five euros.
Mm-hmm.
I
So it
don't
raises
know.
the question: do you
But
want to pay
nowadays-
with Bitcoin now, or just
But
keep hanging on to
nowadays it would just be like 0.000000 something Bitcoin.
it? Yeah.
Really, like
yeah.
the best advice I could give to anybody who wants to do that is just hold it.
Yeah.
Hodl.
Just hold it.
Yeah, imagine
Who
if you
cares
go
how low
5
it
years
gets?
back in time and tell people that pictures of monkeys would be worth so much. That's insane.
They're not.
Right.
Stop saying that.
I know. I'm screenshot your NFTs.
Somebody is going to listen to this and believe you, and then it's going to be actually worth something.
I'd buy I'm
It's all part
surprised
of the
there's
plan.
no NFT for hieroglyphics yet, you know? Like ancient Egyptian NFTs.
Oh, what are they like? You can now buy pieces of art. So, like, instead of owning an entire, like, original artwork,
yeah.
you can buy a share of a piece of artwork.
You get a pixel.
I saw that too. Like,
And has
and
that different
and the
than what
advertise-
the other guys did, but yeah.
And the
Jesus.
advertisement was like with the Nike Air Mag. Like you can own a piece of our Nike Air Mag. And was like, I want to own the whole fucking thing, you morons.
But you got to shell out that money. You got to buy off everybody else.
Or murder them.
Oh,
It's like Highlander, yeah, exactly.
Just murder them
There
all.
can
Whatever.
only be one. You need to collect their tokens.
Yeah.
We're just building to a point where it's going to be like any 90s first-person shooter. Every time you take out an enemy, you get their credits to your account.
Which would kind of bring
NFTs.
us back to the Matrix Online. Where you can just kill one person.
All right.
but-
Did
and then
anybody
they
actually play
die.
that game?
No.
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 I heard about
I-
it when it came out, and everybody
I
said
wish
it was
I would.
amazing.
What game?
I
Matrix
never-
Online?
I would.
Matrix Online MMO.
I tried
There's
it
a
a little
couple
bit.
videos on it. You should watch them.
We should kind of
It was
try
next
to
level.
create our own server. How
Oh,
awesome
did
would that be?
they release the?
Yeah, I think so. I was watching
The,
a
like,
video
backend
earlier
for it?
about a guy who was playing the Matrix Online on
Mm,
some private server, but the missions were missing. But
right.
maybe
true.
there's a way to bring it back now.
With an old enough game, you probably had the world hosted on your computer and was just doing changes coming back and forth from the server, kind of like how Battle Networks.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Matrix Online, there's a client patch out right now, as of July.
Nice.
I
That's
might have to
awesome.
play this.
Yeah, check it out. There's some really unique mechanics behind it. I don't remember exactly, but anyway, we're digressing here. The show has been going on for almost 3 hours now, so I think we'll wrap it up in a bit. Did anyone have any specific memories or topics they wanted to bring up for the episode theme? before we do?
Oh, y'all ever watch them Heritage Minutes? I don't know who else is from Canada, but
I didn't know if you were gonna join, so
you talked about it.
well, not really, a little bit.
How about the great Canadian House Hippo?
Yeah, I
That
talked
came
about
up.
See, everybody knows.
It's a
House
legendary
Hippo.
ad.
Legendary.
I'm
bro.
smarter now because of it.
I remember too. One ad that
Or
always
you
got
dumber.
me. Did you ever
Yes.
get the ad where it's a kid running to try and chase his Pokemon card, and then he can't catch the Pokemon card because he doesn't do enough cardio, so all the girls end up kissing him.
Whoa.
And it's like, get
Wait,
out,
what?
do more activity, do more cardio, or otherwise you'll end up like this kid.
Dude, old commercials were like edgy,
They were
bro.
a little pointed, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
Yeah,
love-
straight to the meat. That's crazy. I want to look that one up.
Find it. I
If
found
you
it.
can find it, okay, I'll link it. We'll put it in the description.
I'll
for
put it in
anyone who
meeting
wants to
chat?
See it. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, it's just like I feel like shows don't develop in the same way. It's good and bad.
He didn't want to be kissed because of cooties.
Yeah, he didn't want to be kissed.
Okay, you see,
Oh, that.
He
okay,
didn't do enough
that makes
cardio.
sense.
I was
So-
like, wait a second. This kid had Pokemon cards and kisses. This isn't.
I
this
don't
is
know where the
fictional
Pokemon. That must
stuff.
be. That was my brain invented the Pokemon card. I think. I don't think there's a Pokemon card.
Okay.
Yeah, Pokemon was my after school experience when I came home.
Yeah.
Turn on the TV and watch Pokemon and nothing else. Everything
Yeah,
else
and
that
it aired
went-
at the same time. Like, what are kids watching?
I wasn't
now
wrong.
after
I
school?
found it. They also made another ad where the kid
Blown
loses
away.
his Pokemon card. and he
Okay,
can't-
there you
can't
go.
catch it because he doesn't do enough cardio.
There you go.
This music is legit. Stay fit, because you never know.
But yeah, shows like Firefly, like that show is it's such a cult classic because of the story behind like the cancellation of the show basically, and the development and the improvements and the budget problems, like,
And then the movie.
and the movie, yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
There's a lot of things out there, like big fandoms that, like, I don't know if they ever have existed if these things weren't canceled.
Yeah. Like, you make your season ahead of time nowadays, right? Like, you're done, and then you release it to Netflix,
And they show it
everyone
all at
watch
once.
it in one sitting. Yeah.
And then you watch till your eyes bleed, and then you go, oh God, what's going to fill the void now?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, Indy, this
Great use of
channel
our day.
has so many videos.
CCA Canada.
Concerned children.
Oh my god, I remember, dude, holy shit, I remember that
actual
ad
one.
logo with the exclamation mark. Yeah,
They
these we
uploaded
saw
all
a
their
lot
videos 10
here
years
in
ago,
Canada.
12 years ago. Wow. You've seen all of these most likely. House Hippo's on here. All of these are on here.
Probably. Damn, this is crazy. I bet you they have the This Is Your Brain on Drugs one too. Oh, there's a crack one.
Nice.
There you go. Nice. Crazy. Yeah, we got to run through some of these. Anyway, yeah, so to wrap it up, I just think it's interesting that we don't have the whole family and like revolving around the television set and like the rituals you'd have on like watching the show that airs once a week with the cliffhanger you don't find out till next week, and there's just so many little nuances that we've lost, and I feel like it's important to have the conversations like this so that we know that other people feel the same way, and we're not just seeking out old media because like we care about nostalgia, but we also care about like making the world that we have currently the best version that it could be, when we're talking about things like entertainment and tech and whatnot. So anyway, maybe we'll see some of these old classic like I said, broadcasting trends come back like we have seen with our vaporwave events. But for now, we'll just have to keep watching fucking Pad Chennington videos, and
It's also harder with like before you would have to wait every week for the new episode, so it would be in the zeitgeist. Like
a
everyone would be
double-edged
talking
sword.
about that forever.
yeah.
But now it's just like, did you binge Squid Game yet? That's past.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
It's like, what are you, a casual?
Because it's easy to come across a spoiler on the internet. So it's easy to have things spoiled, but it's like the thing only lasts so long anyway, and not everyone's into it as much, so it doesn't matter as much if it's spoiled. Whereas if you found out the ending to a show you were invested in every week back in the day because you heard someone talking about it,
No, it was devastating.
you'd be fucking pissed. Yeah. That
Because
happened to
your
me.
next few
One of my
months were
ex-girlfriends
ruined.
on one of the
Yeah.
last shows, like Game of Thrones, I brought up was one of the last big ones because it was airing on HBO, was it?
Yep.
I think
So
Game of Thrones
HBO
is
is
one of the
kinda
last
like
ones.
In the middle still, because it still has that programming, but doesn't have like the commercials and all that sort of thing and ads and whatnot. But yeah, my ex-girlfriend, that bitch, she
I was going to say,
spoiled
this is
Game of
why. This
Thrones.
is what happened. This was the final straw.
That is why. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
She spoiled. Let's say that with a smile and humor, of course. But she spoiled Game of Thrones for me, and I won't say it here in case anyone hasn't seen it. But
Oh
there's
my
a certain,
god! If you haven't seen it by now, it's spoilerable. The people got
Yeah.
mad because
Yeah,
people
it's not
spoiled
going-
the Two
it's not-
Towers in the Lord of the Rings movie.
right,
It's been
I'm
out for
never
like
going to
almost
watch
100
the
years.
100 years now. Yeah, there's a certain little rascal, a little jerk who everybody hates who dies, and that got spoiled for me, and I was like, fucking livid, man. Oh my god, I was so mad.
Oh
Anyway.
yeah, I got that spoiler, but I was like, oh, but how does it happen?
I think I found that out too.
One of the
never
few
mind.
people who like spoilers. I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
tell
really?
me, whatever. Yeah, I'm like, whatever, man. I'm gonna watch it anyway. Like,
Yeah.
Now
It
I
doesn't-
know what no one else knows who's watching.
it's not like
for the
it's a
first
murder
time.
mystery or something.
Yeah. Now, if they spoiled like season 8 in like season 2, then I wouldn't have watched any more of it after
Yeah.
season
That's
2.
fair then.
But
Yeah. Anyway,
And I still haven't seen Game of Thrones, and I'm not going to.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. Then at some point
Yeah. Crazy.
I remembered, but then nah, never mind. I'm not going
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah, dude, I'm a weeb. I'd
Yeah.
rather watch
for sure.
Vinland Saga or something.
You still got to watch Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that one I'll give to you. That's some good
That one
time.
I'll give
That
to
is a
you.
good
I hope
show.
so. Hope so. But yes, let's get things wrapped up here. Any final thoughts from anybody? Thanks again, and y'all for coming on the show. Of course.
Nerf
Thanks
for
for having
nothing,
me.
baby.
I have soft air or airsoft.
Oh, airsoft guns?
Hell
They're
yeah.
fun.
Yes, they are.
Super Soter.
I have no closing remarks, Indy.
Cool. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here. All listeners, we appreciate you. Check out our website, utopiadistrict.com. We've got a lot of cool stuff on there. Got some writing, some videos, some podcasts, some interviews, some news. Yes, check out our news page, actually. That's quite a poppin' page. Anything that's happening in the scene, we're trying to get it up on that page as quick as we can. Hopefully it'll be a cool way to look back at what happened over the year, you know. Yeah, it's a cool place. Check out our Discord. You can find the Discord link in the description of this video or podcast, and of course it's on our website as well. If you want to join the team, hit us up. We've got a lot of cool stuff in the works. Right now we're doing some compilation albums, some VHSs, some Christmas videos. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and we could always use the help. So feel free to get in touch. I'll leave everybody with an opportunity to shout out where people can follow them at. And thanks again, y'all, one last time for coming on the show and talking about this cool stuff that I think about way too much. So with that, yes, let's go Maxemus. Where can people find you at?
People can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Itchy Butt Records, teatime.bandcamp.com, mxmus.bandcamp.com, and that's it.
Nice. And what's the band? The Tea Time link?
Yep, tea time. TTIME.bandcamp.com.
Awesome.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Max. Demo.
Yeah, I can be found on Twitter at PlasticPalms1, because the one without the one was taken. Also on the Discord, it's DemoDawg.
DemoDawg. Awesome, bro. Thank you so much. And yeah, anyone that wants to let us know of any news that's happening, Demo's actually leading up the news department. So anything to do with news you want to hit us up with, maybe you have an event coming up or an album or something you'd like to announce to the community, we'd be happy to help empower you with whatever it is you're working on. So Demo is your man. We've got our newest team member, two technically, but we'll start with Mallman. Where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Discord.
Oh, and it's Mallbert, by the way. Or like, what is the link actually? Because I just call you Mallman, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean the artist name is Mallbert, but Mallbert. I also used to use Luigi Player 2 as a name. For some reason, there's a Luigi Player 2 and Mallbert on Twitter already. So I figured I just use my old @ which is Katensu, with an S.
Can you spell it out?
Yes, sure. Katensu.
On Twitter.
Yeah. I'm not too active on Twitter. I think I'm more active on Instagram, but my @ on Instagram is Luigi Player 2 as well.
Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing exciting things coming from you at Utopia District.
Hell yeah.
And audience members as well. Keep your eyes peeled.
I also have a Redbubble shop. I also have a
Redbubble.
Shop,
Yeah. Tell us.
Which is also Luigi Player 2 on Redbubble.
Yeah. Cool. We'll link that in the description of the show too, if anyone wants to check out your designs.
Thanks.
I'm looking at the one you have in your video right now, and yeah, that's some really cool shit. And one thing you made me think of is, we've got all these platforms right now, Twitter, Instagram, we all have had the time to figure out what our handle's going to be. And generally, maybe you have to make a new handle, make an adjustment, make another new handle if you want to change your identity somewhere. Eventually, I feel like it's so hard to find a handle now that isn't already taken. Handle, username, you know what I mean by that. So what are people going to do in 10 years when new people are born and they want to spin up a Twitter account? Every combination of good names is going to be taken, kind of, right? I feel like that's happening already.
Didn't Discord fix that?
Put a number at the end.
Yeah.
Well, Discord's an exception because it's not unique. You don't have a page, right? No one's going to remember Indy 4423 is me. Don't go to Indy 4428 though. That's another guy. No one's going to remember that, right?
Fair.
So yeah, I'm curious because obviously Indy Advent, that's not a name generally people are going to think of, but is that a name people really strive for? I saw a guy today, his name was Sphere Cube. I'm like, Sphere Cube? He's a video game speedrunner. So I imagine maybe he's young, and I was just thinking this guy, he probably had no options for other words. He just everything's fucking taken, Sphere Cube, fuck it, I don't know, maybe just me, but I feel like you got to be more creative with your usernames now.
Maybe you're gonna have to start doing it, putting it on a registry. My kid's born. Am I gonna do capital X Indy? No, that's lame. Let's do some ASCII art. I don't know. It's gonna be weird. I don't know.
You have to call it.
Yeah, early days.
File a form with the FCC to every time you want to change it.
And would it be crazy to have a kid these days? And then, I bet you Elon took his kid's Twitter handle when he named him.
That was his Twitter handle.
Well, he made it his.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. They'll probably take it, and then Just say, here, son, here's your Twitter handle. You got your name clean, with no, special characters or nonsense.
Or
That's
you'll
why
have
his
to
name was
you'll
that
have to
because it was the
pay.
only one he could get.
That's true.
Yeah. Because people just take usernames and sit on them. Same with domains, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, interesting thought to leave y'all with for the rest of your day. And last but not least, we have... Oh, sorry. Did anyone want to talk on that note before I move on?
Nope.
Anyone who didn't get to? Okay. Pizza Man, our newest team member. How's it going? Thanks for joining. Where can people
Twitter
find
right
you?
now, I guess Pizza_SLT, because they won't let me call myself a slut.
Bastards.
I know, and Twitch too. I guess
Censorship.
no more streams on Twitch, but maybe we'll have graphic design work coming soon for
sweet.
albums, cassettes, and stuff. It'd be cool to.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe we'll see you open for commissions sometime as well.
Yeah, maybe make a Fiverr or something. I don't know. Is that what people are doing these days?
Well, for Vaporwave, probably not, but that's probably a good idea, actually. Vapor, people just know.
Someone else in the community.
They just, it's like word of mouth almost, a lot of time.
Classic.
Classic way. Yeah, we like it. We keep it classic style around here. Keep it at 55th Street.
Keep it on Craigslist.
Keep it on Craig. All right, Craig. Time to go. Craig's the name of our bot. Goodbye, Craig. All right, guys. Thank you so much once again. This was a lot of fun. Hit me up with any links you want to add in the description, and have a great rest of your day. Listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you on the digital other side. All right. That's it.
Yay.
We'll see you later.
Yeah.